Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. After 20 years of retreat, you will be born with gods of destruction level combat power. Chapter 81. Speaking of which, system, what year is this year? While Beerus was talking with Whis, Zhongyang asked the system in his heart. IG 774, May 2nd. The system gave Zhongyang a reply. Has it been 774 years since IG? This time, really passed fast enough. Zhongyang froze for a moment, and then recalled in his mind which plot unfolded during this time period. After a while, his eyes suddenly lit up, and then he suddenly remembered. In IG 774, May 7th was the day when the 25th Tianxia number 1 martial arts conference was held. At the same time, this time is also the day when the chapter of Majin Buu officially starts. So, is it time for Majin Buu to start? A smile of expectation appeared on Zhongyang's face. What he was looking forward to was not Majin Buu, but that man, known as the strongest and most perfect fit fighter in history. Vegito, what is Master Zhongyang thinking? At this time, Anna's voice sounded. Nothing. Zhongyang shook his head and smiled. For the next 2 days, Zhongyang alone searched for some weak beasts and performed 100% beheading attribute effects. But after 5 times of 100% beheading attribute effects, Zhongyang found that his ability hadn't turned into a basic clearing ability. Immediately, this made him understand that the condition for evolving the effect of the beheading attribute into a basic clearing ability is not just to use it 5 times. There is definitely a more rigid condition, that is, it is definitely not a weak existence. Regarding this, Zhongyang's head was really aching. After all, this evolutionary explanation did not say which level of existence the use of the beheading attribute effect was considered as the use of a beheading attribute effect. To be honest, cheating must be a bit cheating, but Zhongyang still thinks that he is very good at the initial level of clearing ability. After another 2 days of failed experiments, he finally directly chose to use his precious chance to evolve a god-level skill on the effect of the beheading attribute. Therefore, at this moment, the effect of his beheading attribute has completely disappeared, and the primary clearing ability directly appears on the skill bar. Zhongyang, who obtained the initial clearing ability, spent another 2 days experimenting with the feel, and finally came to the conclusion that it was much stronger than destruction. In other words, compare the removal ability with the destruction. It is really a bit of an insult to clear this ability. For example, Zhongyang compared 2 dead planets. Under the destruction, there are inherent traces. And after clearing, it's as if this dead and silent planet has never appeared in the universe, and there is no trace of its existence at all. So far, a total of 6 days have passed since Zhongyang left the customs. IG 774, May 7th. In the venue of the 25th World Number 1 Martial Arts Conference. Now, Zhongyang is long overdue. When Zhongyang arrived, the games of the junior division had already been played. Brother Zhongyang . When Zhongyang appeared in the preparation area of the adult division, Son Goku and others immediately spotted him, and one by one came over to say hello. Zhongyang, the 18th is also there. Zhongyang saw her and greeted her with a wave and a smile. Then, he scanned the audience and found East King Kaixin and his follower Jabit. Seemingly sensing Zhongyang's gaze, coupled with the shouts of Son Goku and others, East King Kaixin and Jabit also turned their heads and set their sights on Zhongyang. The moment East King Kaixin set his sights on Zhongyang, his short body couldn't stop trembling for no reason. Immediately afterwards, beads of sweat appeared on his forehead and back. This is a terrifying man to the extreme. Just this moment, East King Kaixin defined Zhongyang in his heart. My lord, what's wrong with you? At this time, Jabiter, who looked back, suddenly noticed the condition of his son East King Kaixin, and he couldn't help showing a look of astonishment on his face. Now, East King Kai looked constipated with his hands and face, unable to speak at all. Horrible. Now, he even followed Zhongyang's gaze to meet him, and he felt like he was about to pee in fright. Mommy, who is this man? Is it this man? Facing East King Kaixin, who seemed to be frightened, Jabit frowned slightly, and then looked at Zhongyang. For some reason, he felt that this man was just like that. Ordinary and strange, ordinary. Oh, the only thing, is that this man also seems to be a Saiyan. And judging from the warm greetings from Mr. Son Goku and others, it should be a high-ranking person among Saiyan, or a slightly stronger existence. Besides, is there anything scary about it? Jabber was dazed and at a loss. At this time, the pressure on East King Kai Shin dropped sharply as Zhang Yang looked away, but the shadow was still there. After taking a deep breath, he swallowed heavily, and finally said in a low voice with a mournful face, that, doubt is also a god. And, is still an extremely powerful god. Nani? When Jabber heard what East King Kaixin said, his face changed suddenly, and then he exclaimed and expressed his shock at the moment. Swish swish swish. Moment. The eyes of all the people present turned to East King Kaixin and Jebet in an instant, and the eyes included Zhang Yang. And when Zhang Yang's eyes were on East King Kai Shin again, his whole body was in a state of shock, and then his whole body entered a state of trembling again. Tick. A drop of water fell to the ground. Jebet looked at East King Kai Shin in astonishment. And at this moment, East King Kaixin also looked at Jebet, with a constipated expression as if saying, "Don't get me wrong, this is not urine, it's just simple sweat." At the same time, East King Kaixin also scolded Jebet many times in his heart, knowing that the preparation area is very small. Suddenly there was a loud cry. How could it not provoke everyone's eyes? That, Master Shin, let me introduce you to Brother Zhang Yang. Just then, Son Goku's voice came. Immediately afterwards, da da da, footsteps sounded, and as the sound of footsteps sounded in the arena and reached East King Kaixin's ears, his constipated expression became even more distorted. All in all, apart from being uncomfortable, his current emotions were full of fear. Soon, Zhang Yang and Son Goku came before the immobile East King Kai Shin. "Hello, East King Kai. Master Shin." And as a calm voice came into East King Kai Shin's ears, Shin instantly felt that his already extremely soft legs lost their support in vain at this moment. Boom. The pressure was too great, and this East King Kai fainted directly because of Zhang Yang's words for no reason. See here, everyone present couldn't help being stunned. This Mr. Jabet, what's wrong with Mr. Shin? Son Goku looked at East King Kai Shin who had fainted on the ground, and couldn't help being stunned. I don't know either. Jebet was also puzzled for a while, then looked at Zhang Yang, and then asked tentatively, which god are you? Hearing Jebet's question, Son Goku and the others couldn't help being stunned. Brother Zhang Yang, is it a god? Shouldn't it? The people present didn't know Zhang Yang's identity at all, but number 18 barely knew some, because after all, they stayed with Rebecca for a while, and after deduction, they still knew something about Zhang Yang's unusual identity. Hearing Jebet's question, Zhang Yang frowned slightly, and there was a little dissatisfaction in his eyes. The guy here was really straightforward enough to expose his identity in front of everyone. After thinking for a while, Zhang Yang said casually, "I'm not a god, I'm just a little stronger in strength. As for his apparent identity, he is just a candidate gods of destruction, and his 400 identity in the dark is just a space-time gods of destruction. In his opinion, this identity is nothing more than mediocre. After all, his current strength is very close to being a lawbreaker of the great gods of destruction. Even if he were to challenge the 10% Grand Priest now, he would definitely have the confidence to win. If he could not be exposed, Zhang Yang was naturally unwilling to be exposed. Well, at this time, East King Kai Shin Yu, who had fainted on the ground, woke up, and the moment he raised his head, he received Zhang Yang's stare again, which made his heart tumble in vain at this moment. Master East King Kai. Jebet hurriedly helped Shin up from the ground, and then said in a low voice, "The Lord said that he is just a slightly stronger human being." Humanity. Hearing Jabber's words, East King Kai couldn't believe it a million times. He thought he was a god who had seen the scene, but he had never felt the current situation in any human being or god who had seen it. Faced with this human general sense of oppression, with just one glance, his whole body fell into fear. It's not that Zhang Yang has dissipated his cheer, that his momentum has come out, but the sense of oppression from the depths of his soul makes him understand that these 10 people are definitely not what they suffered from among the Jabbets, but just powerful ones. Humanity. As for why Zhang Yang doesn't want to reveal his identity, the reason is very simple, that is to keep a low profile. But, I really didn't know that there are powerful gods in the universe that come from the Saiyan clan. East King Kaixin didn't dare to look at Zhang Yang, turned his gaze away, and said to the bewildered Son Goku, Mr. Goku, I just passed out because of my old injury for many years. No, what a shame. You're fine. Son Goku breathed a sigh of relief, and was about to say something, but at this moment, there was a sound from outside the preparation area to inform the players to go on stage. Master Shin, it's my turn to play next. Jupiter said in a low voice. It's my turn. Son Gohan stood up. Seeing that no one was paying attention to him, Zhang Yang blinked at number 18 on the side, and then said, see you later, in spoken language, then teleported away from the preparation area. Call out. The next second, when Zhang Yang reappeared, Fan had already arrived in the auditorium of the outfield. At this moment, he forcibly squeezed to the front and came to the side of Bulma and others. Ha, Zhang Yang, you're here. It was Rebecca who was talking, and she and Anna stood on one side, and there was no one around, forming a small open space. Zhang Yang glanced at the piles of people who had passed out, and the corners of his mouth twitched. I'm afraid this girl just treated the people around him a little better. If other humans dare to approach her, at least they will be the fate of those people. Why can't I come? Zhang Yang smiled, and at this moment, Bulma rushed directly in front of him, jumped, and hung on his waist like a bear. Hey, Bulma, you took my place. Bulma's first attack caused Rebecca on the side to react suddenly, with an unhappy expression on her face, and then rushed over. After circling around Zhang Yang, she jumped lightly, then jumped onto his back, wrapped her arms around Zhang Yang's neck and made a funny face at Bulma hanging in front of him. Looking at Rebecca's airy expression, it seems to be saying, little boy, do you really think that you really took the place of this girl? Seeing this scene, Anna covered her mouth and laughed. Especially when she saw Zhang Yang's bitter and helpless expression, her smile trembled even more. But, Anna also had some curiosity about Zhang Yang's arrival. After all, his level is already different, what's the point of watching these weak humans fight? You tell me how to walk later. Zhang Yang smiled wryly. It doesn't matter, you have to carry me behind your back. Hee hee. Rebecca's voice also rang at the moment Zhang Yang's voice fell. Me too. Bulma also rang immediately after Rebecca's voice fell. In this regard, Zhang Yang is really a first 2 days. The most important thing is that both Rebecca and Bulma are hanging on him, causing the surrounding eyes to flick over, which makes him feel like he is being looked down upon. Alright, at this moment, Anna finally stood up and said, the match is about to start, this time the battle is quite interesting. Come down and watch it. Hearing Anna's words, Bulma thought about it for a while, and finally let go of her legs reluctantly and jumped off Zhang Yang. Seeing Rebecca's deafness, Bulma glared at the little girl. At this moment, she really regretted that she had such a good relationship with this little girl, which caused her to lose her temper easily. It's okay to be a sister and make a younger sister. Bulma could only comfort himself in this way. Now, Rebecca on Zhang Yang's back squinted at Bulma, and said with a smile in her heart, it's not sure who is the older sister. Little girl. At this time, the game in the field has almost started. Anna glanced at the field, and when she saw Jupiter, she couldn't help but twitched her brows, and said in surprise, this guy, with a little bit of aura that belongs to a god, is it a follower of a god? His name is Jabit, and he is the follower of East King Kai-Shin. Zhang Yang said lightly, East King Kai-Shin, don't know. Anna shook her head. She was in the 15th universe before, so she didn't know much about the priesthood system of the 7th universe. However, she was a little curious as to why this guy, as a follower of the gods, would participate in such an extremely boring battle with humans. Now, on the arena in the arena. Just like in the original story, Jupiter let Son Gohan fully explode his energy, and after a shock, the two hidden demons also made a move. Seeing this scene, Bulma exclaimed from the side, why didn't Goku and the others save Gohan? It's all right. Zhang Yang smiled lightly. This is saved, I am afraid that Majin Buu will not be able to expand. Afterwards, everything developed as in the original plot. After the two demonized men collected the energy of Son Gohan, East King Kaixin took Son Goku and others to chase after him. Want to see a good show? Seeing Son Goku and others leaving the venue of the world's number 1 martial arts conference, Zhang Yang immediately turned his head to look at Anna and Bulma, and said with a smile. Good show. Anna and Bulma looked at each other, not knowing what to expect. Let's go. Zhang Yang smiled slightly. Wait a minute, I still have to watch the battle on the 18th. Or, you guys go. Bulma glanced at the top of the ring, and then said, I promised number 18 that I will cheer for her in the ring. That's fine. Anyway, we'll just go back. Zhang Yang thought for a while, then nodded. After the birth of Majin Buu, Vegeta and Goku will be magically brought to the venue of the world's number 1 martial arts tournament by Babbidi's transformation scene, and we can still see him at that time. Immediately, Zhang Yang carried Rebecca on his back, holding Anna by the hand, flickered for a moment, and disappeared directly on the spot. Call out. When they reappeared in the next second, the three of them had already caught up with Son Goku and others who left first. Brother Zhang Yang is here too. Seeing the three of Zhang Yang, Son Goku showed surprise on his face, and said to East King Kai Shin, who was leading the flight in front of him, Master Shin, Brother Zhang Yang is very powerful. If he helps, what Majin Buu, it can definitely be wiped out easily. Hearing Son Goku's words, East King Kaixin subconsciously glanced back, but it was just such a glance that almost scared him off and fell from the sky. Wiping the cold sweat off his forehead, he smiled awkwardly and politely at Zhang Yang as a greeting. To be honest, he really wanted to call Zhang Yang Master. But after thinking about it, this adult didn't seem to want to expose his identity in front of Son Goku and others, so he pretended to be nonchalant. East King Kai, are you the Supreme Kai of the 7th universe? Rebecca on Zhang Yang's back glanced at Shin, and said in surprise, it doesn't look like it. You couldn't be a fake. Rebecca didn't know how many years ago she saw Supreme Kai from the 7th universe. That little old man was perverted. Compared to this guy in front of him, he didn't look like him at all. That, East King Kai Shin glanced at Rebecca, and found that the little girl's breath was not perceived by him at all, which surprised him again. At the same time, he couldn't help but burst into a bitter smile. What happened to him today, and what happened to this earth? Why are they all so scary? He's the East King Kai, not the Supreme Kai. When East King Kai Shin didn't know how to explain, Zhang Yang explained to Rebecca, this guy has good abilities, and he should be the candidate Supreme Kai of the 7th universe. Zhang Yang is familiar with the follow-up plot, this little East King Kai Shin, and later indeed became the Supreme Kai of the 7th universe. That's it. Rebecca was stunned, and then glared at the stunned East King Kaixin, and said coldly, boy, I can tell you not to be like the Ghost Kings before the 7th universe. Zhao, Supreme Kai. Hearing Rebecca's words, East King Kaixin was sweating profusely again. Terrible. Who are these guys? Yes. Although he didn't know what that Supreme Kai did to offend this seemingly little girl, he was smart enough to understand that all he needed to do was nod his head. No way. He is a little East King Kai, he really can't afford to offend this great god. A group of people flew at high speed, and then Son Gohan and Jabit also rushed over, and finally a group of people reached the finish line and hid among a pile of boulders. Of course, Zhang Yang, Rebecca and Anna and the extremely proud Prince Saiyan are not included among those who say hiding, the tragedy. Oh no, Vegeta, Kaori. East King Kai Shin turned around, saw Vegeta standing at first sight, and immediately wanted to ask him to squat down, but suddenly, he saw Zhang Yang and Anna standing there. From the corner of his eye, and the corners of his mouth twitched. This moment, he forced his words back. These great gods don't seem to be here to investigate the enemy's situation at all, they are purely here to inform the enemy that we're here. If it was Son Goku and others, East King Kaixin still had the guts to reprimand them. But Zhang Yang at all. To be honest, he would not dare to give him a million guts. Forget it. East King Kai Shin brainwashed himself in this way. Just like the original, on the open space below, Babidi communicated with Dabra, the king of the demon world. But at this moment, Zhang Yang took a sharp sniff of the air, his brows furrowed in vain at this moment. It stinks. Anna Rebecca, do you smell something foul? The stench invaded his nose one after another, which made Zhang Yang's brows almost wrinkled, and his face became extremely ugly. It stinks. Sniff. Hearing Zhang Yang's words, Rebecca and Anna raised their noses, sniffed twice, and then frowned. Although the two of them didn't smell the strong stench like Zhang Yang, but they are two powerful angels, let alone Anna, who even Zhongyang can't see through the strength now. Now, I also slowly smelled an unpleasant and disgusting stench in my nose. Not strong, just a little smell of machine. But it was this little bit of stench that instantly made the two angels, Rebecca and Anna, start to fight and retch. Especially Rebecca, who already had a cleanliness habit, smelled the stench, and her face turned pale at this moment. It's so uncomfortable. What? It really stinks. A breath of terror rose slowly from Rebecca's body. At the same time, in the sky not far away, a black hole slowly disappeared, leaving a distorted space above the sky. And with the passage of time, this distorted space gradually recovered, and finally disappeared completely. Now, here is Zhongyang. He, Rebecca, and Anna's brows completely disappeared with the distorted space, and they also completely relaxed. Call. At this moment, Zhongyang felt relieved. What the hell does that stench mean? Although the stench has disappeared now, Rebecca's mood is getting worse. At this moment, her face is irritated and cold. Goku. Did you guys smell something foul just now? Zhongyang looked towards Son Goku and asked a question. Not at all. Son Goku shook his head. At this moment, East King Keixin's face changed, and he exclaimed, "No, they seem to have found us." Escape. The first reaction of East King Keixin was to run away, because that was Dabra, the king of the demon world, a guy who was extremely powerful. But in the blink of an eye, he gave up the idea of running away. Dabra, the king of the demon world, is indeed powerful, but how many great gods are there beside him? What is he afraid of? There is absolutely no reason to be afraid. Thinking of this, East King Keixin froze immediately, and at the same time changed from a squatting position to standing up straight. Dapwara, the king of the demon world. Hey, let me see how strong you are. When East King Kai was about to speak, Vegeta flew into the sky impatiently. Zhongyang took a look at him, and found that his strength was not much different from the original book at this moment, and Son Goku was the same, as in the original book, there was not much difference in combat power. Could the stench just now come from this guy? Rebecca suddenly frowned slightly, and looked at the guy from the devil world below with sharp eyes. Probably not. Zhongyang shook his head. Only he, Rebecca, and Anna could smell the stench just now, which means that the owner of that stench is definitely not an ordinary person. So, maybe it's the stench from people in the negative universe. Zhongyang suddenly thought of something, and a little surprised look appeared on his face. At this time, he suddenly remembered the Cell at the time of the Cell chapter. This guy's strength is extraordinary. If he and Rebecca were not there at that time, Cell alone would have wiped out Son Goku and the others. Would it be related to people in the negative universe? Zhongyang's eyes flickered for a moment, and then he began to recall that he was not on the earth for the first time back then, so he might not have smelled the breath of people belonging to the negative universe. Therefore, this time he happened to be on the ground, and happened to be participating in the development of Majin Buu's chapter, and he was still near the embryo of Majin Buu. Is this time Majin Buu will also be regarded as stronger than him in the original book? Thinking of this, Zhongyang's eyes narrowed slightly. In this case, we can only judge by seeing the strength of the awakened Majin Buu. Rumble. While Zhongyang was thinking, Vegeta and Dabra had already started an extremely fierce battle in the sky not far away. Unexpectedly, Mr. Vegeta's strength is so powerful. Seeing that Vegeta was evenly matched with Dabura, who is the king of the demon world, East King Keixin showed a little shock on his face. Master East King Kai, Vegeta hasn't used his most powerful transformation yet. Don't worry, Dabra, the king of the demon world, is absolutely impossible to be his opponent. Son Goku smiled. That's right, both Son Goku and Vegeta are Saiyan. As the compatriots of this unknown god, there is no reason why they should be weak. After hearing Son Goku's words, East King Kai Shin secretly glanced at Zhongyang, who seemed to be thinking about something, and then secretly said in his heart. Not long. The battle in the arena is over. No one killed anyone. Knowing that he was invincible, Dabra retreated directly to the passage of the underground spaceship. See here. After Vegeta shouted loudly, he chased after Dabra. Everyone follow. East King Kai snorted loudly, and then flew towards the tunnel of the underground spaceship. Are we going? Rebecca looked a little uninterested. No, I have to go around to see what's different. The stench just now, I suspect, is the breath from people in the negative universe. Zhang Yang guessed. Huh, a person in the negative universe. Has it appeared so soon? Rebecca was slightly taken aback. The aura of people in the negative universe, is this aura? Anna frowned slightly. A long time ago, she seemed to have smelled the stench she smelled today. In other words, some people from negative universes sneaked into the 15th universe. Didn't Father say that the seal is still good? Rebecca had a look of surprise on her face. Silly goose. Zhang Yang patted Rebecca's small pee-pee hanging on his back with his backhand, and explained, think about it, the negative universe didn't know that it was sealed in ancient times, and now it has been so long, how could the seal be kept forever intact? There will always be some looseness. And these loose cracks are naturally enough to negatively affect the existence of not particularly high strength in the universe to come to our universe. Understood. In other words, sooner or later, there will be more powerful people from the negative universe coming out, right? Rebecca was stunned. It's not unreasonable for you to say that. Zhang Yang chuckled lightly, and then flew into the sky. Anna followed closely behind. Immediately, the three of them began to search around. Soon, relying on their keen senses, the three of Zhang Yang arrived at the place where the distorted space disappeared before. The stench seems to be coming from this sky. Zhang Yang fixed his eyes and kept scanning his surroundings, as if he wanted to see something different. It is a pity. After the distorted space disappeared, there was no trace at all, only the residual shallow stench lingered in the air. In this regard, he frowned slightly. To be honest, he really would rather discover the copy universe of the 7th universe, the space entrance of the -7 universe earlier, so that he can prevent problems before they happen. After all, there are quite a few people he cares about on the 7th universe. At this moment, Anna suddenly flew upwards for a while, and then a slightly surprised voice came, Master Zhang Yang, come and take a look. Zhang Yang returned to reality from his thoughts and flew towards Anna. Above the sky, Zhang Yang looked along Anna's finger, and saw a small crack that was almost invisible to the naked eye existed above the sky. Zhang Yang raised his brows, and with a slight smile on his face, he jokingly said, Anna, it seems that we are lucky. We came here after looking for it, and just happened to meet a guy with a negative universe who came out of it. As he spoke, Zhang Yang looked with great anticipation at the crack that gradually grew from a trace. It stinks. It stinks. And as the space crack grew bigger and bigger, the stench came again. Now, Rebecca, who was hanging on Zhang Yang's back, almost frowned, covered her nose and cried out in pain. Don't scare the negative universe guys. I'm looking forward to these guys. Zhang Yang reminded in a low voice. At this moment, he and Anna were the same, completely covering their noses, and no one could bear the stench. Time passed by every minute and every second. That's it. About 5 minutes or so. The space crack has finally become the size that can hold the body of a 7-year-old child. Coming. Zhang Yang stared at the space, and besides the stench, a breath also passed into his induction. A few seconds passed. A hand rested on the space crack. Then, it was the second hand. Then, a strange-looking man with a pair of black horns on his head appeared in the sight of Zhang Yang and the three of them. When the alien appeared, he and Zhang Yang looked at each other. In a short time, the atmosphere seemed to freeze. Not coming out yet. After freezing for a few seconds, Zhang Yang looked at the alien in the space crack with a smile. Hearing Zhang Yang's words, the alien jumped out of the crack directly. He looked at Zhang Yang, who was also looking at him. At this moment, the alien who walked out of the conceited universe suddenly set his sights on Anna. He didn't feel anything at first, and then put Yuguang on Rebecca on Zhang Yang's back. It was nothing at first, but when the alien saw Rebecca's face, his pupils constricted for a while, and then a look of panic began to appear on his face. Angel, help! After a strange cry, he wanted to run back into the space crack at an extremely fast speed. But at this moment, Anna, who was holding the angel staff, tapped the void lightly, and saw that the person of the opposite gender could not move immediately. You still no angel. Zhang Yang flew over, and sat cross-legged in the sky in front of the alien who walked out of the conceited universe. And at this moment, Rebecca, who was hanging behind him, pinched her nose, looked at the alien with disgust, and then spoke, Hey! Are all the people in your negative universe so stinky? HMPH. I doubt it. When you fight, I'm afraid you won't defeat the opponent at a real level, but you will defeat the opponent with your own extremely stench. A series of words directly made the alien look ashen. He looked at Rebecca and Anna, his eyes were full of disbelief. He doesn't understand. Why does the legendary angel appear on such a weak planet? You can't speak. No, you recognized Angel just now. Zhang Yang rested his chin in his hand and stared at the alien who came out of the conceited universe, and kept sizing him up. He found that this guy's strength is not bad, he has the ability to jump Earth at this moment, not to mention 8 trillion combat power, I am afraid it is 1 trillion, and it is easy to wipe out all the masters on the entire Earth. Did you also come to Earth a few years ago? Zhang Yang started the interrogation. The alien glanced at him, and the look of horror in his eyes turned into contempt in vain. That look, are all saying, even you, a weak human being, want to interrogate him and make him open his mouth. You look down on me. Feeling the eyes and expression of the alien, Zhang Yang was stunned. Good guy. It has been a long time since he was looked down upon by others. This alien who came out of the conceited universe, his strength is not strong, and his attitude is still sloppy. The alien still didn't speak, but this time he sneered. Did not speak, but seemed to say. Regarding this, Zhang Yang laughed angrily at this guy's attitude, raised his hand and slapped him out of the air. Zhang Yang's strength control was extremely perfect, so there was no scene of directly slapping the alien to death. Human boy, let me tell you, if it wasn't for the 2 legendary angels beside you, I would have punched your shit out, do you believe it or not? After being slapped by Zhang Yang, the alien was obviously not convinced, but he finally spoke, and Zhang Yang could tell when he opened his mouth. This guy is definitely an old troll. I do not believe. Zhang Yang shook his head. There are probably only a few people in the entire universe who can beat his shit out. Will the terrifying existence in the universe he lives in attack him? Obviously impossible. Therefore, Zhang Yang can say without exaggeration that there is no one who can beat him out of shit. Don't believe me. Laughing to death, if you have the ability, let Angel release me from the prison, let's have a good fight. The alien immediately exploded and yelled at Zhang Yang. The mouthfuls of saliva flew across the air, coupled with the stench that emanated from him all the time, it was disgusting enough. That, Mr. from the negative universe, don't you think that the existence that can be followed by 2 angels is an ordinary human being? At this moment, Anna suddenly opened her mouth to remind one room. The alien looked at Anna, and saw her soft smile, like a spring breeze, and his heart was moved at this moment. But soon, he realized the meaning of Anna's words, and then suddenly set his sights on Zhang Yang. At this moment, his previous arrogance was gone. In the eyes, there is just endless fear. The existence that can be followed by Angel, why may not know about it? Gods of destruction. This seemingly weak creature in front of me, who can't feel any presence at all, is his gods of destruction. But, isn't his gods of destruction paired with a legendary angel? Who would have imagined that there are 2 angels accompanying him? Now, this alien wailed inwardly. The first time he went on a mission, he was able to meet 2 legendary angels and 1 gods of destruction. He really didn't know whether he was lucky or unlucky. Still encountered on such a weak planet. Anna, untie his imprisonment, and let me see how strong this guy is. At this moment, Yang's voice sounded. Yes, Lord Zhang Yang. Anna nodded softly, just as she was about to release the alien from the prison. Don't, my lord, please feel free to ask any questions you have, and I'll tell you all about the little ones. But, I hope you can let me go back after I finish speaking. The alien lowered his head. In the face of absolute strength, he couldn't help being arrogant. Although, Wei Neng will also be killed by this gods of destruction after he has said everything. Human nature is like this. As long as there is a little hope of survival, anyone will be willing to fight. Where does all this nonsense come from? What you say has value. Zhang Yang said impatiently. Did you also come to Earth a few years ago? Master, no, this is my first mission. The alien answered Zhang Yang's question very obediently. What is your mission to come to Earth? Zhang Yang glanced at the space crack that was slowly disappearing on one side, and asked again. Look for existence that can parasitize. The aliens didn't dare to hide anything. Parasitic. Zhang Yang and Anna on the other side looked at each other, with a little surprise on their faces, and after thinking for a while, they continued to ask, which level is your strength in the negative universe? Also, are you in the -7 universe? My strength is very weak, and I belong to the lowest level of existence. As for the universe I am in, it should be the -7 universe you mentioned. The status of this alien in the -7th universe is just like that of Son Goku and others at the current stage. He has a little strength, but after all, he is just a small shrimp in the huge universe, and his vision is only on the planet he is on. Okay, I see. Zhang Yang thought about it for a while, and found that he didn't seem to have anything to ask. He raised his hand and was about to kill the alien who came out of the universe of the conceited system. But after thinking about it, Zhang Yang gave up. This guy's return to the negative universe is probably a good thing for the Earth. Because he will tell the people around them what happened on the Earth. Since then, the Earth will not suffer any danger in a short period of time. And in the future, if the negative universe fully launches an attack on the big universe where Zhang Yang lives, he guesses that Son Goku and others may also grow up. At that time, it will be a piece of cake for them to protect a planet that is nothing more than a tiny place in the eyes of this alien. Your Excellency, look, can I? The alien asked tentatively. Yes, you can go back. Zhang Yang waved his hand, looked at the alien with a smile, and said, next time I come, I hope to meet a stronger guy. Muttenden is full. The alien didn't dare to say anything. Anyway, everything Zhang Yang said was right. When the confinement was lifted, the alien turned around and flew directly in front of the crack in the space. When he was about to step in, he seemed to think of something, turned around and said in a deep voice, "You are a good god, and there is no such thing as recorded in ancient books. Outrageous and wanton killing. You kept your promise and let me go, so I also tell you a piece of news. Maybe in a few decades, or even earlier, our planet will start sending people into your universe on a large scale up." After saying this, the alien got into the space crack. Not long after, the space crack completely disappeared. Zhang Yang flew into the air where the space crack existed just now, reached out and touched it, and was surprised to find that there was no trace at all, and even the stench could not be sensed at all. These guys should be controllable cracks, not space cracks that have always existed. Anna came slowly and said softly, do you think what that guy said just now is true? Zhang Yang nodded slightly, then tilted his head and asked Anna. Real. Anna didn't speak, and Rebecca, who was on Zhang Yang's back, nodded with certainty. Well, hearing Rebecca's words, Zhang Yang frowned slightly. After decades, if things go on like this, I'm afraid it will be at least after the Power Conference. And a total of 18 universes participated in the Power Tournament. It's a bit interesting to think about it. Zhang Yang touched his smooth chin with his hand, and there was a little expectation in his eyes. Boom. At this moment, there was an extremely terrifying aura not far away. Oh, appeared. Zhang Yang frowned. Immediately, Zhang Yang took Anna and Rebecca directly to the place where Majin Buu appeared at this moment. Majin Buu. As soon as the three of Zhang Yang arrived just in time to hear the extremely frightened voice of East King Kai Shin. Majin Buu. Rebecca glanced towards Majin Buu, and found that it was a chubby pink ball that looked very cute, which made her eyes suddenly show care. So cute. Rebecca immediately jumped off Zhang Yang's back, and then quickly walked towards Majin Buu. Seeing this scene, Zhang Yang's mouth grew slightly. This Rebecca actually thinks Majin Buu is very cute. But Zhang Yang looked at Fat Buu, and it seemed that he was indeed cute. Rebecca ran quickly towards Majin Buu. And as Rebecca ran, everyone in the field focused on her. Careful, this guy is Majin Buu, the strength is very scary. East King Kaixin saw a little girl from Rebecca running towards Majin Buu innocently. For a moment he forgot the identity of this little girl, so he immediately reminded her. Hearing the reminder, Rebecca glanced at East King Kai Shin, grinned, and speeded up, arriving in front of Majin Buu in an instant. Hello, cute pink chubby ball. Rebecca raised her head happily and waved hello to Majin Buu, who was taller than her. You say I'm a cute pink chubby? Majin Buu frowned suddenly. What, don't you like it? That cute pink chubby? Seeing Majin Buu's frown, Rebecca couldn't help tilting her head to look at him, and continued, "How is it?" "How? By Li Li." Seeing Rebecca's natural appearance, Majin Buu laughed angrily, then slowly reached out his chubby hand, narrowed his eyes and said, "I don't think so much." "Not so good." This time it was Rebecca's turn to narrow her eyes, glanced at Majin Buu's outstretched hand, and stretched out her hand with a smile. Copy it under the stunned eyes of everyone. Rebecca and Majin Buu held hands together. He he he. An extremely cold smile appeared on the corner of Majin Buu's mouth. At this moment, golden rays of light suddenly emerged from the hand he was holding Rebecca. "Oh, is this a gift for me?" Seeing the terrifying golden lights coming out of Majin Buu's hands, Rebecca smiled with her eyes narrowed into crescent moons. This Majin Buu is miserable. Now, Anna next to Zhang Yang pursed her lips and smiled. Oh, Zhang Yang couldn't help being a little surprised when he heard Anna's words. In his opinion, Rebecca wouldn't be able to kill such a weak guy like Majin Buu, would she? She also praised Buu just now that this guy is cute. Facing pets that don't obey discipline, Rebecca will give a good lesson. Anna smiled. Good guy. Hearing Anna's words, Zhang Yang called her a good guy in his heart. Emotional Rebecca sees Majin Buu as a pet. Boom. At this moment, a deafening roar suddenly exploded in the field. Zhang Yang looked and saw that Majin Buu was blown up. Call out. Rebecca flew into the sky, kicked it out, and kicked it several hundred meters away. Ha ha ha. Fun, fun, fun. Rebecca's melodious laughter like silver bells was constantly heard in the sky. Ah this. Seeing Rebecca Chun-Chun kicking Majin Buu around like a ball in the sky, East King Kai-Shin and others below felt incredible. Especially East King Kai-Shin, although he understands that Rebecca is not easy, but that is Majin Buu. That horrible existence who killed multiple Supreme Kais. At this moment, in front of that little girl who seems to have a different identity, like a ball, kicked here and there again. This is not a pet. It's completely treating Majin Buu as a toy. Seeing this scene, Zhang Yang felt amused. Rebecca is just so naughty. Anna shook her head and chuckled. Boo, my Boo, how can you be bullied like this by a little girl peonzi? Quick, kill this little girl peonzi, and then kill everyone present. In the end, we will unify the entire universe. Quote. Now, Babidi, who was expecting Majin Buu to wake up and started killing, looked at the constipated expression on his face, looking at Majin Buu being kicked around by Rebecca as a ball in the sky, let alone how depressed he is now. It's fun, it's fun, it's fun. Rebecca's excited voice has been uploaded in the sky to the ears of everyone below, and the expressions of each of them have changed from incredible at the beginning, shocking, and now they all turned into wry smiles. Especially East King Kai-Shin, at this moment he even had some doubts, whether the Majin Buu in the sky was the Majin Buu in the legend. So weak. Or, in fact, it's not that Majin Buu is too weak, but that little girl is too strong. East King Kai-Shin exchanged a glance with the stunned Jabber, and he thought to himself. There is only one way to say that he knows Majin Buu to such an extent that he can even turn into ashes. So, Majin Buu cannot be fake, nor can it be extremely weak. Then there is only one answer left. Rebecca's strength has reached the point where she uses the mighty Majin Buu as a toy. Boom, rumble. At this moment, a person fell from the sky to the earth. Accompanied by the deafening roar of the explosion, a deep pit appeared in everyone's sight. Majin Buu, covered in dust all over his body, slowly flew out of the big pit. He looked at Rebecca sitting cross-legged in the sky with his arms folded on his chest with an extremely gloomy expression. At this moment, he really hated the little girl in the sky. Woo woo woo. The more Majin Buu thought about it, the angrier he became, and pink steam rose above his head. Boom, boom. Majin Buu clenched his fist vigorously and hammered his chest twice, and kicked his feet hard, soaring into the sky in an instant. Boom, boom. An extremely dull impact sounded, and in the next second, Majin Buu fell to the ground again, and another deep pit appeared. See here. There was an uproar in the audience. It's really a group of people who can follow Brother Zhang Yang. There was a wry smile on Keelan's face, and he didn't dare to say the word abnormal, for fear of being heard by the scary little girl, and then he would be beaten up again. You are so funny, round. Rebecca landed slowly above the sky, looked down at Majin Buu who climbed out of the beak below, and praised with a smile. Perhaps this remark is a recognition of Majin Buu for Rebecca, but for Majin Buu, it is not a recognition but a humiliation of Chiguo. At this moment, Majin Buu felt like he was about to be blown up by the little girl Rebecca, but he is not an idiot. This guy's strength is so terrifying, he has always been passively beaten. Not to mention fighting back, even his Meow's defense can't do it. Have to escape. Majin Buu immediately had a clear goal in his mind. It is true that he looks silly, but in the original book, at this stage, his combat power is indeed top-notch. There is no need to think too much, push it horizontally and it will be over. And now, after such a short period of fighting. Wrong. It should be said to be crushed. Majin Buu knew instantly that he was no match for this little girl. Escape. And absolutely only escape. Otherwise, the ghost knows what will happen in the future. Thinking of this, Majin Buu looked at Babidi who was on the side, and then flew to his side without thinking, and finally, under the stunned eyes of everyone, he grabbed Babidi and ran away directly. Majin Buu, escaped. Seeing this scene, East King Caixin's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. Escape. Rebecca chuckled, and was about to capture Majin Buu back when Zhang Yang said, "Rebecca, forget it." He was really afraid that Rebecca would play Majin Buu to death, but he hoped to see Son Goku and Vegeta's earring fit fighter appear. HMPH. Anyway, I already remember this guy. As long as he is on the earth, he can't escape my induction. Rebecca snorted softly, but obeyed Zhang Yang's order and did not arrest Majin Buu. Goku and Vegeta are still fighting. Zhang Yang looked not far away, and he could sense that the aura of Son Goku's demonized Vegeta was rising and falling, and it seemed that he was already exhausted. Uncle Zhang Yang, Vegeta Uncle he. Son Gohan came over and said helplessly. I know, it's okay. Vegeta's pride, I still appreciate it very much, neither of them will be fine. Zhang Yang waved his hand and didn't care. Little Zhang Yang. At this moment, a gentle voice suddenly rang in Zhang Yang's ear, which was Whis' call. Zhang Yang responded. Master Mei has arrived in the 7th universe, it seems that the visitor is not friendly. A slightly embarrassed voice came from Whis. Hearing this, Zhang Yang couldn't help but cast his eyes on Rebecca. He guessed, Mei's visit this time should be for the girl Rebecca. Zhang Yang abducted the human angel into his own angel, even though Rebecca wanted it. He thought he had to blame himself for being too attractive. Not long after, Zhang Yang, Anna, and Rebecca left the Earth and came to the world of gods of destruction in the 7th universe. As soon as the three of them arrived in the gods of destruction world, Mei, who was talking with Whis, immediately turned her eyes to Zhang Yang. The gods of destruction, with angel-level combat power, has something inexplicable in his eyes at this moment. Mei, long time no see. After seeing Mei, Rebecca ran up to her in a hurry, and then jumped into her arms, rubbing against Mei's face non-stop, with an extremely intimate gesture. See here, Zhang Yang couldn't help coughing twice in embarrassment. This scene gave him the feeling of abducting his daughter. Master Zhang Yang, Master Mei. At this time, Anna, who was extremely careful, found that Mei was not wearing a long dress exclusive to female gods of destruction. Skirt. Hearing Anna's words, Zhang Yang immediately looked at Mei again, and also suddenly discovered this matter, raised his eyebrows, and asked strangely, could it be that gods of destruction can also resign? Quote. Basically no. Anna shook her head. Basically no, that means there are exceptions to everything. Zhang Yang recalled that the 17th universe's candidate gods of destruction had also reached the gods of destruction level. If Mei chose to step down, it would not be impossible to become the 17th universe's gods of destruction. Just ask later and you'll know. Anna glanced around. In fact, she had the answer in her heart. Because the newly promoted angel who served Mei did not appear, she actually thought that Mei Zhen might have resigned from the position of gods of destruction. Otherwise, Angel will definitely travel with gods of destruction all the time. This gods of destruction was sneaked out. Thinking of this, Anna couldn't help looking at Mei who was gently stroking Rebecca's head. Based on her understanding of this lord, it was impossible for her to sneak away from the 17th universe. Zhang Yang and Anna Chi-Chi came over and greeted Mei with a smile. It's such a big show for Zhang Yang to be a candidate. There is only one candidate for gods of destruction, but there are two angels serving you. After Zhang Yang said hello, he immediately said sourly. Cough cough. Zhang Yang knew that May must be displeased with his too much charm, so he abducted Rebecca. Now that he heard that it was true, he immediately coughed a little embarrassedly, and said in a low voice, Master May, this is also true. Don't blame me. If you want to blame it, blame your food for being too tempting. May snorted coldly. Of course, you can also explain that my charm is too great. Are you right, Rebecca? Zhang Yang blinked at Rebecca in Mei Wei's arms, and laughed twice. Pooh, Rebecca snorted, but did not refute. Because she has no reason to refute. It's true that staying with May would be very happy, but in fact, it is inevitable that her freedom is somewhat restricted. And following Zhang Yang, this guy wished he didn't follow him. Once she disappears, she will disappear for several years. She can go wherever she wants and do whatever she wants. This kind of life is her dream for Rebecca. Seeing that Rebecca didn't refute, May didn't know what to say, so she could only stare at Zhang Yang, a poor-mouthed fellow. By the way, Mr. May, have you stepped down as the gods of destruction of the 17th universe? Seeing that May fell silent suddenly, Zhang Yang took the initiative to find a topic. Why do you say that? May looked at Zhang Yang in a little surprise. Haven't you always been wearing gods of destruction's exclusive god clothes? And, the newly promoted angel of the 17th universe is not with you. Zhang Yang laughed. Can't it be sneaked out? May was speechless for a while. Nani? Anna on the side was a little surprised. Faced with Anna's astonishment, May shook her head. If it was her before, it is indeed impossible for her to sneak out. But, don't even think about it, when Rebecca was in the 17th universe, she didn't have to sneak out. All in all, it's this Zhang Yang understudy who keeps making her break out of her own routine time and time again. Thinking of this, May gave Zhang Yang another, vicious, look. But to be honest, from Zhang Yang's point of view, May's look is quite cute. May, my fault, I should go to the 17th universe to accompany you more. Rebecca immediately held May's face and began to apologize, and then whispered, Zhang Yang doesn't care about me, this time I will follow you back to the 17th universe to play for a while. Come on, don't think too much. These are delicacies on a planet called Earth, I will show you a taste. While speaking, Rebecca grabbed the void with her right hand, and a miniature version of Angel's staff appeared in her hand, and then saw her lightly pointing at the table next to it, a table from the earth. The food appeared on the table. Several people were seated. With Rebecca by her side, May seems to be in a much better mood at the moment. By the way, Master May ran out secretly, wouldn't there be anything? Whis asked. Recently, it should be fine. When May heard what Whis said, she suddenly seemed to think of something, lowered her voice, and said, I sent Amon and Phil to go on a mission, and with the time of investigation, I think it will be a while before I come back. Task. Zhang Yang, however, became a little sensitive after experiencing the negative universe that appeared on Earth, so he asked, is there anything unusual in Mr. May's 17th universe? Strange. **M. May thought for a while, then frowned suddenly, and said with some disgust, on the day I left the world of gods of destruction, I smelled an extremely bad smell in the universe. And, there is another one that is gradually disappearing. Space crack. Swish swish swish. After May finished speaking, Zhang Yang, Anna, and Rebecca, who was stuffing delicious food into her mouth, immediately set their eyes on her. It seems. The 17th universe also has negative universes lurking in. Zhang Yang took a deep breath. Negative universe. When they heard this term for the first time, Whis and others were taken aback. This negative universe is. Zhang Yang told Whis, Beerus and May about the news he got from the Grand Priest. After a few minutes, Whis, Beerus, and May put down their chopsticks at this moment, their faces extremely serious. Zhang Yang, according to what you said, a weak planet like the Earth has been targeted and almost invaded, so other places in the 7th universe may have been invaded as well. Beerus said in a deep voice. Although he understands that some rotten fish and rotten shrimps in the negative universe have entered the 7th universe. He is the gods of destruction in charge of the 7th universe. If he was fully invaded by that negative universe, then he, Beerus, would really lose face. Zhang Yang, I suddenly had a bold idea, that is, can we find space cracks, and then go back to that so-called negative universe? There was a strange light in Beerus' eyes, and he expressed his thoughts coldly. This group of fools from the negative universe dared to invade his seventh universe, so, can they also go to the negative universe through the space crack? That's a bold idea indeed. Zhang Yang nodded approvingly. After all, no one knows what level of master gods of destruction can be in the negative universe. It's not 100% that they can pass. After all, if those space cracks can allow powerful beings to get through, why didn't the negative universe send powerful people to go first, but instead send some weak beings here to find the existences that entered it? Those space cracks should not allow experts to enter, otherwise it may cause space-time turbulence, space shattering, and getting lost in chaos. Anna thought for a moment, and said, "Forget it." Hearing that the consequences were so serious, Beerus immediately waved his hands and shook his head, no longer wanting to sound the horn of counterattack. If it gets lost, the seventh universe will lose a huge combat power by then, so it's better to wait for those negative hand song fools to fully implement the invasion after many years. Grand Priest said that the system of the negative universe is similar to the system of our universe. It is not difficult to know from the alien who came out of the negative universe that I saw last time. The negative universe also has gods of destruction and angel of. Zhang Yang rested his chin on his hands and began to think, with a little excitement on his face. At this moment, he suddenly came up with an extremely fun idea. That is, how interesting would it be to have the gods of destruction level of the negative universe fight with the gods of destruction level of their universe? However, waiting for the gods of destruction level of the negative universe to come over, then I am afraid that the negative universe will also be able to fully invade. Zhang Yang shook his head, throwing this rather interesting and absurd idea out of his mind. But, this idea has been remembered by him. If there is a chance, he will definitely organize a duel like this. By the way, Zhang Yang, your kid's strength should be able to show us through, right? At this time, Beerus took a bite of the dish, put it in his mouth and began to chew, and casually asked, "Do you have the second stage angel level combat power?" In the second stage, the combat power of the angel level is the combat power value of 14 points. Hearing Beerus' conjecture, Zhang Yang chuckled twice, and said, "We have reached the sixth stage of angel level combat power." Pat, puff. As Zhang Yang's voice fell, Beerus, who was chewing delicious food and was preparing to add food, trembled suddenly, and saw the chopsticks directly falling on the table. At the same time, he hadn't finished chewing in his mouth, and the food he swallowed was also spurted out by him. "You have reached the sixth stage of angel level combat strength." May's hand trembled involuntarily, and her delicate body trembled even more. At this moment, she turned her head with a blank face, stared at Zhang Yang with a serious face, and asked uncertainly, "That is to say, the current strength is about the same as that of the big gods of destruction Lawbreaker?" "It's still a bit weaker than Lord Lawbreaker. But I am indeed at the sixth stage of angel level combat power." Zhang Yang is not prepared to hide that his opponent should not be any one of the 18 universes, but those guys from the negative universe. Beerus was also at a loss for a moment. He didn't know what to say to express the shock deep in his heart at the moment. He guessed at the beginning that Zhang Yang's strength had reached the second stage of angel level combat power, which in his opinion was already a bit of a guess. Who knew, Zhang Yang's answer was even more exciting. Good guy. He directly skipped the strength he thought he had guessed high, and even jumped in several stages, and arrived at the terrifying sixth stage of angel level combat power. Ordinary people may not know the horror of angel level combat power in the sixth stage. But Beerus got it. Not only him, but gods of destruction may, who broke through the shackles of gods of destruction and barely reached the first stage of angel level combat strength, also understood it. May probably understands the meaning of this sixth stage angel level combat power better than anyone else. After all, it would be extremely difficult for her to advance even a little bit with the strength of her angel level combat power in the first stage, let alone the above stages. But Zhang Yang is crazy. It feels like what? It's as if his strength was once very strong, but then he was injured, causing his strength to retreat. Now, his injury is slowly recovering, and his strength is also slowly recovering. It wasn't just Mei Xin who had such an idea, Wisana also had such a terrible idea in her heart. Certainly, they just think about it that way, and they don't really think that Zhang Yang is really this kind of existence. After all, the age put there can never tell a lie. As for Rebecca, she wasn't surprised by Zhang Yang's strength at all, she wasn't moved or shocked at all, and she continued to enjoy the food calmly. Monster. Finally, after being confused for a long time, Vera stared at Zhang Yang and spit out these two words. Whis and Anna looked at each other, and fell silent for a while. Zhang Yang's growth is indeed outrageous. What are you thinking so much about, Zhang Yang? That's Zhang Yang, a nice, likable guy. At this time, after eating a few delicacies, Rebecca suddenly said a word. Hearing this, Whis and Anna gave a wry smile at the same time, they were not suspecting that Zhang Yang's identity was wrong or something. They are all thinking whether Zhang Yang really has no limits and bottlenecks in his growth. If it really doesn't exist, then is it possible to make it grow to the realm above angel level combat power in a shorter time through some method priest level combat power? And if they think of a certain way, it is naturally given by angel. But, whether it is Whis or Anna is not sure, it is not certain if Zhang Yang has his own unique way of practice. The two looked at each other, finally nodded, decided not to ask, and let Zhang Yang grow by himself. After all, for so many years, apart from receiving the blessings of angels several times, Zhang Yang has not obtained any convenience for cultivation from them, and everything is on his own. Therefore, in this case, it seems that they are the best help for Zhang Yang if they don't intervene in Zhang Yang's practice. Next, after a meal, May and Rebecca left the seventh universe. And after Zhang Yang and Anna stayed on the earth for a month. This day, an extremely strange breath appeared from Zhang Yang. This lifted him up immediately. Call out. Zhang Yang's figure flickered for a moment, and in the next second he appeared above a small island in the northern part of the earth. Now, he looked down and saw two people confronting each other. One is Gohan Bu, and the other is Vegito, the most perfect fit fighter in history that Zhang Yang has been waiting for a long time. Vegito's strength has reached the Beijing level. Zhang Yang took a look at Vegito and found that this guy was so powerful. As we all know, a trillion is a trillion, and 10,000 is a capital. The leap of these levels really represents the invincible existence of Vegito at the current stage. At least, Gohan Bu, who only has more than 1 trillion combat power, is absolutely impossible to be Vegito's opponent. But if you think about it, in the original book, when Vegito faced Gohan Bu, he was purely playing tricks, not to mention using all his strength, even the warm-up state is not considered. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of collision below attracted Zhang Yang's attention. I saw Vegito chattering and laughing and easily crushing Gohan Bu. The latter let alone fight back, even defending is an extremely difficult thing. Seeing this, Zhang Yang shook his head, just as he was about to leave. Zhang Yang. At this time, Vegito below noticed him, and immediately gave up beating Gohan Bu, turned around and flew towards Zhang Yang above. Hello, Vegito. Zhang Yang looked at the man with a smile and said hello. Vegito is Son Goku and not Son Goku, Vegeta and not Vegeta. The combined fighters all have their own consciousness, and at this moment he is a brand new fighter. This is a good opportunity, come and fight with me. Vegito looked at Zhang Yang excitedly. It is indeed possible to fight, but you need to get rid of this guy below. Zhang Yang laughed. Small issue. Vegito grinned, his figure flickered for a moment, and within a minute he used the method in the original book, let Gohan Bu swallow him, and then dealt with Gohan Bu from the inside. After quickly taking out Gohan Bu, Vegito took to the skies again. Please. Vegito clasped his hands together and bowed to Zhang Yang. This is Son Goku's signature move, and it's on Vegito right now. Regarding this, Zhang Yang also responded with an action, and the moment he raised his body, Vegito on the opposite side suddenly rushed in front of him. Boom. His speed is extremely fast, and it is absolutely difficult for an ordinary person to react. Zhang Yang is not an ordinary person. Today's Ultra Instinct has penetrated into his bone marrow, not to mention that he has also mastered a higher level of free self-intention than Ultra Instinct. In an instant, relying on his body's reaction, Zhang Yang raised his hand and punched out. Boom. As the two punched each other, the surrounding space couldn't help shaking. Boom, boom, boom. Then, the battle between the two officially started. Now, the scene of the fight between the two was watched by the old Supreme Kai and East King Kai Shin, who were far away in the Supreme Kai world, and the Jebet god, which was formed by the fusion of Jebet, was watching with a projection crystal ball. My lord, this gentleman should also be a god, right? God Jabbeter asked the old Supreme Kai. He felt that this person's vision was too broad, and he should be able to see what kind of god this person is. People. No. Old Supreme Kai didn't notice anything at first, but after he felt it carefully, his face suddenly changed. From this Saiyan, he actually felt a sense of oppression from Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus. With the battle between Zhongyang and Vegito in the crystal ball, the perspective is slowly opened. At this moment, the old Supreme Kai suddenly fixed his eyes on the crystal ball, and there was a beautiful figure in the sky. It was one of Zhongyang's servants, Angel Anna. And when the eyes of the old Supreme Kai were on Anna, Anna turned her head and glanced at the void, as if she met the eyes of the old Supreme Kai at this moment. Pat. At this time, the crystal ball shattered. God. Angel. The old Supreme Kai didn't notice that the crystal ball had shattered, and he looked dazed at the moment. He didn't understand that an angel appeared in such a small place on the earth. From what he felt from Zhongyang just now is consistent with the sense of oppression he felt from Gods of Destruction Beerus, coupled with the appearance of Angel. This all shows that Saiyan is definitely a Gods of Destruction. My lord, this crystal ball is broken. God Jebet looked at the broken crystal ball with a look of shock. Peeping Angel, and Gods of Destruction, crystal ball shattering is a normal thing. Old Supreme Kai smiled wryly. Angel, Gods of Destruction. There was a look of astonishment on God Jebet's face. He had never heard of these names, and he froze in place for a while. Gods of Destruction. The old Supreme Kai began to explain to God Jabata. Now, on the earth, the battle between Zhongyang and Vegito is also getting more and more intense. Zhongyang has always maintained a level similar to Vegito's strength and played against him. But Zhongyang's own abilities are too terrifying, so even so, Vegito was beaten up by him. Finally, Vegito 2 fusion time is over. Looking at Zhongyang, who is high above, Son Goku and Vegeta below looked at each other, with some bitter smiles on their faces. Zhongyang's strength is too terrifying. After the fusion of the two, the play is as strong as Gohan Bu when he was played by Veggie. In the face of Zhongyang, Vegito attacked with all his strength, not to mention hurting him. Even if he was touched, it was very difficult to touch him. This deep frustration made it difficult for Son Goku and Vegeta to recover for a while. Cultivate hard. Zhongyang left these words and disappeared into the sky with Anna Chi-Chi. Majin Buu's chapter is completely over, and Zhongyang has also seen the power of Vegito, so he is ready to accompany Bulma and number 18 when it is time to transition to the Dragon Ball Super period. As well as closed practice. Although the relationship between the three of them has not developed any further, their hearts are always there. This point, Zhongyang is not in a hurry. Anyway, Bulma's physical condition has made a wish, and she will always be 18 years old. Chapter 91. After the end of Majin Buu's chapter. After Zhongyang accompanied Bulma, number 18, for a year, he directly started retreat practice. 3 years passed like a blink of an eye. IG 778, a day in July. Now, Zhongyang Exedu is in the backyard of his home. His figure slowly appeared. Ding! Congratulations to the host, who has practiced in seclusion for 3 consecutive years and received a critical strike reward. The progress bar of the True God domain is 40%, the combat power value +5, the second stage of free self extreme intention power, and the power of time and space. Quote. Claim the reward now or delay the reward. A system notification sounded in Zhongyang's mind, and his brows were raised. Immediately, he chose to receive the reward now. Then, he checked his character attribute panel again. Host, Zhongyang. Realm, 80% progress in the realm of God. Bloodline, Saiyan. Combat strength, Angel level combat strength 24. Skills, Power of time and space, advanced version of instant transmission, primary clearing ability, 100% chance to weaken attribute effects, second stage free self-intention skill, Angel power. Items, Time and Space Practice House, Unlimited Gourmet House, Shondo 999, Super Dragon Ball X7, Fusion Pill. 24 points of combat power value. 80% of the progress bar in the realm of God. The power of time and space. It was only then that Zhang Yang discovered that his ability to pause time and turn back time was no longer displayed on the skill bar, and it seemed to be replaced by a brand new power of time and space. Immediately, he checked the introduction of the power of time and space. After reading it, Zhang Yang's eyes widened immediately. Good guy. The strength of the power of time and space is perfect. Now, he doesn't just have the ability to pause time for 3 minutes. He also has the ability to turn back time for 3 minutes. It can also speed up time, that is, the ability to speed up time by 3 minutes. At the same time, this ability to speed up by 3 minutes can also be called predicting the future for 3 minutes. What does this foretelling the next 3 minutes represent? Zhang Yang, he will basically not be touched by the enemy when he is fighting with others, so he can use his tricks to make himself invincible forever. Certainly, if the enemy's strength exceeds him by too much, it is pure crushing, and it cannot be called a battle. Not bad, not bad, open corner bracket. Zhang Yang nodded very satisfied, the smile on his face was indescribably brilliant. Today, his combat power value has reached 24 points. If he has not surpassed angel level combat power, then he is now the number 1. Tier 12 angel combat power. Master Zhang Yang. At this time, a soft voice sounded, it came from Anna's mouth. Zhang Yang turned his head to look, and in an instant, he finally saw the value of Anna's combat power. 28 points. In other words, the 16th level angel level combat power. Terrible strength. 3 years of retreat, Master Zhang Yang's strength seems to be a little more terrifying. When Zhang Yang looked at Anna, the latter's beautiful eyes kept looking at him, and after a few seconds, her eyes showed surprise, and she spoke. Yes, Zhang Yang nodded, thought for a while, and asked, Anna, is your current strength surpassing that of an angel? Anna shook her head, and then said, I am currently at level 16 angel level combat power, and after reaching 18 level angel level combat power, that is beyond angel level combat power. After the 18th level, it surpasses the combat power of the angel level. Zhang Yang converted it, and Anna's current strength is 28 points, so that means, after the combat power value reaches 30 points, it will surpass the combat power of angel level. Thinking of this, Zhang Yang couldn't help but look at Anna twice more. This angel really deserves to be an angel who was born in ancient times, and his strength has already stood at the half-peak of angel. I still want to ask, after surpassing angel level combat power, what song? Zhang Yang's eyes flickered for a moment, and he continued to ask. Hearing Zhang Yang's question, Anna's eyes flickered with a strange brilliance, and she smiled and said, beyond the angel level combat power is priest level. Priest level. Zhang Yang's eyes widened a little, and then he thought of Grand Priest, and said in surprise, could it be that Grand Priest's strength is at the level of a priest? That's right. Anna nodded and continued. Of course, maybe my father's Grand Priest's level is different, but it is widely circulated among our angels, that is, after surpassing the angel level of combat power, it is the priest level. Then, how high is the Grand Priest a priest? Zhang Yang's eyes flickered, and he continued to ask. Do not know. Anna shook her head, and said with a wry smile, currently, the most powerful existence among angels is only the 18th level angel level combat power, no one has ever reached the god level. Oh, Zhang Yang frowned suddenly, and his eyes showed a little thoughtful look. According to my father, Grand Priest, if you want to surpass angel level combat power, you need to step into another realm. And this realm seems to be called the real god realm. Anna recalled and finally told Zhang Yang a message that was extremely important to him. True God Realm. Hearing this word, Zhang Yang was immediately stunned, and then hurriedly glanced at his character attribute panel. Realm. 80% progress bar in the realm of God. Good guy. It turned out that he had been in control of the entry ticket to the realm of God. Wrong. Now the progress bar of his true God realm has reached 80%, whether he has stepped into it, or he has truly stepped into the true God realm after reaching 100%. But, after Zhang Yang thought for a while, he was too lazy to think about it. When the progress bar of his true God realm reached 100%, everything became clear. It's very interesting, this level is beyond the level of angel level combat power. Zhang Yang grinned, and then continued, Anna, what about Bulma and No? 18. In the past 3 years, has this little girl Rebecca ever come back? Father. Bulma and the 18th were invited to Carlman's birthday party. According to Rebecca, they have been in the 17th universe for the past 3 years. It seems that they will not return to the 7th universe for the time being. Anna answered truthfully. Carlman. Zhang Yang didn't react when he heard the name at the first time, and finally a flash of inspiration flashed in his mind, and then he remembered that Carlman is the replacement of Bulma in the original book, that is, Vegeta's current wife. In this way, is the super-length plot of Dragon Ball officially launched. Zhang Yang rested his chin on his hand and began to think about it. The original Dragon Ball was out of period, and this time period happened to be the period when Vital was pregnant. And if he remembers correctly, Xiaofang was born in IG 779, and this year happens to be IG 778. In terms of time, it is indeed the time when the Dragon Ball Super opened. Let's go and see. Zhang Yang smiled slightly. Who knows, I can still meet Master Beerus and Whis. Now, on a piece of sea in the east of the earth. A huge cruise ship sails on the sea. Zhang Yang is now in the sky above the cruise ship, and now he is looking at the huge cruise ship below with his chin in his hand, and he is thinking whether this cruise ship belongs to Bulma or Carlman. After all, although Carlman in this world is Bulma's substitute, his family background is different. This cruise ship is most likely Bulma's birthday present to Carlman. Call out. The figures of Zhang Yang and Anna flickered for a moment, and then they arrived on the cruise ship. With the arrival of Zhang Yang, all the eyes of the audience were on him, and they came over to say hello one after another. As for this guy Vegeta, he was lying on a beach chair, and there was noise from all around him, which made him squint his eyes slightly and raised his body to look at him, and when he saw Zhang Yang being so popular, he immediately gave a disdainful cut, then he closed his eyes again. At this time, footsteps sounded. Vegeta's wife, Carlman, came. This was also a very beautiful woman with long purple hair that looked very noble. Vegeta, everyone is over there. Let's have fun together. Carlman smiled and extended an invitation to Vegeta. Do not bother me, Vegeta said lightly. Hearing Vegeta's indifferent voice, Carlman smiled bitterly and shook his head. You just like to be cool alone. Since you don't want to play together, then you can do whatever you want. While talking, Carlman walked to the side. Cut. Vegeta glanced at Carlman's back and sang. Vegeta, Vegeta. Just after Vegeta closed his eyes again, an old voice suddenly sounded in his ears. Huh, who is it? Vegeta suddenly jumped up from the beach chair, clenched his fists and kept scanning around vigilantly. I am King Kai. King Kai's voice came. Next, you need to listen to me carefully. The legendary Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus just fought against Goku on the planet King Kai. Goku lost with just 2 moves. Gods of Destruction Beerus. Vegeta froze for a moment, always felt that the name sounded familiar, as if he had heard it before. But, 2 moves defeated Kakarot, this Gods of Destruction Beerus, how powerful should it be? And many more. Vegeta started to walk slowly, frowning and asked, the 2 moves you mentioned defeated Kakarot, did he transform into Super Saiyan 3? Yes, King Kai's slow voice continued. Now, this Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus has come to the earth, so please make sure this Lord is satisfied. By the way, he loves food very much. I understand. Vegeta took a deep breath, and his face was full of seriousness at the moment. Kakarot in the transformed form of Super Saiyan 3 was defeated by Gods of Destruction Beerus in 2 moves. This kind of strength can be described by more than 2 words, terrible. Vegeta suddenly punched the wall heavily, and then looked at the clenched fist in disbelief. He found that his body seemed to be shaking, and it was all because of the so-called Gods of Destruction Beerus. Dignified King Vegeta, you are actually afraid. How abominable. Vegeta gritted his teeth. Hey, King Vegeta. At this moment, a voice sounded. Vegeta's complexion changed, and he hurriedly turned around, but he didn't see anyone. Is it an illusion? Vegeta glanced around again, but there was still no one, which made him frown immediately. Bang! Just when Vegeta's raised heart just let go, a threatening sound sounded, which scared him back a dozen steps, and finally stabilized his body, looking at Beerus and Whis in horror. Who are you? Vegeta was terrified. He stared at Beerus, a sense of oppression that I have never experienced before hit like a wave. Even, this moment, he began to compare the oppressive feeling of that guy Zhang Yang with the oppressive feeling this guy in front of him gave him. Zhang Yang. Far worse. Of course, the reason why Vegeta thinks so is that Zhang Yang rarely meets him, and Zhang Yang conceals his aura perfectly. Therefore, Vegeta thinks that the oppressive force given by Zhang Yang is not enough. Do you need to know who I am? Beerus sneered, and said lightly, just now, you were already dead by my hands. Thinking of the play just now, Beerus suddenly recalled the first meeting with Zhang Yang in Planet Vegeta back then, and he couldn't help showing a nostalgic smile for this. Thinking about it carefully, he and Zhang Yang have known each other for some years. But, the corner of his mouth twitched when he remembered that this kid was only a phenomenon-level human master when he first met, but now his strength has reached the level of the 6th level angel-level combat power. I couldn't help sighing in my heart again. The growth of this stinky boy is a bit too heaven-defying. Vegeta still looked at Beerus with endless horror in his eyes. He still couldn't guess who the guy standing in front of him was. Yo, Master Beerus, long time no see. At this moment, a voice sounded. Vegeta looked, it was this guy Zhang Yang. Anna followed him. Sudden, Vegeta froze, because he found that Whis' clothes were very similar to Anna's clothes. And, they all hold an angel staff in their hands. Could it be that? Is there any connection between this guy and the woman who has been with Zhang Yang all this time? Vegeta frowned tightly, but then, he remembered something again, and looked at Beerus suddenly, and then at Zhang Yang. What did that Zhang Yang guy call that purple-skinned guy just now? Lord Beerus, that guy is Gods of Destruction, Beerus, who King Kai said just now, defeated Kakarot in Super Saiyan 3 transformation form in 2 moves. It's been a long time, brat. At this time, there was the sound of Beerus chuckling. Only then did Vegeta regain his composure, and then looked towards Beerus and Zhang Yang, his mouth suddenly opened wide. Zhang Yang, this guy, to be so familiar with Gods of Destruction Beerus. So, Zhang Yang, who the hell is he? Vegeta was really confused at the moment. Zhang Yang and the others left. Vegeta was stunned for a while before he recovered. Then slowly followed a few people to the central meeting place of the cruise ship. Zhang Yang has a good relationship with this Gods of Destruction Beerus, so it seems that no one on Earth should provoke him, right? Vegeta hid aside and peeked, thinking secretly. The only one who could possibly provoke Gods of Destruction Beerus is Majin Buu. After all, the current guy seems to him to be stupid, he has no brains at all, and often this kind of person is the easiest to provoke people who shouldn't be provoked. Thinking of this, Vegeta took a deep look at Majin Buu, who was happily eating. As long as he keeps an eye on him, it should be all right. Here, tell me, has Master Beerus encountered any abnormalities in recent years? Zhang Yang held a plate of takoyaki in his hand, and after eating 2 bites in a row, he replied. Currently the 7th universe doesn't seem to be any different, but there's something about the 15th universe. Beerus frowned tightly. That guy Buzz came to the 7th universe a year ago, and he said that he once killed a guy at the level of a human phenomenon. Buzz can also guarantee that guy isn't from the 15th universe. Zhang Yang frowned slightly. How many people have come out of the negative universe of the 15th universe? Not many, just one. The existence of a human phenomenal master. Beerus said lightly. Is it possible to get out of this level of existence? Zhang Yang's eyes flickered for a moment. From this point of view, I'm afraid it won't take a few years for Gods of Destruction level existence to emerge from it. Hey, guy hiding aside, come here and let me ask you something. Beerus suddenly squinted at Vegeta, who was hiding on the side, hooked his fingers at him, and motioned for him to come over. Hearing Beerus call, Vegeta put aside secretly guessing Zhang Yang's identity, and immediately stopped thinking about it and hurriedly ran towards him. Hello, Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus, do you have any orders? Vegeta asked with a smile. Seeing Vegeta's attitude when facing Beerus, Zhang Yang couldn't help but want to laugh. Do you know Super Saiyan God? Asked Beerus. Super Saiyan God? Sorry, I don't know. Where did Vegeta know these things? He only wants to know one thing now, and that is Zhang Yang. What kind of identity does he have? Master Beerus, didn't I tell you? Seeing that Beerus was still asking about Super Saiyan God, Zhang Yang couldn't help but shook his head and smiled, and said, Super Saiyan God is a special state. Oh, yes, Beerus suddenly recalled that Zhang Yang had explained it to him many years ago. But, Beerus stared at Zhang Yang, rested his chin on his hand and thought for a while, finally snapped his fingers and said, Zhang Yang, in a sense, you should be a real Super Saiyan God. Hearing this, Zhang Yang smiled, but didn't speak. But Beerus' words were heard by Vegeta, who was on the side. Super God of Saiyan, Zhang Yang, this guy. Could it be also a god? Moreover, from the perspective of this Whis who has been by the side of gods of destruction Beerus, Anna has also been by Zhang Yang's side. Zhang Yang is also a gods of destruction. Thinking of this, Vegeta's pupils constricted for a while, and then he took a sneak look at Zhang Yang, and found that this guy seemed to have a sense and glanced at him. Vegeta, what are you thinking? Zhang Yang looked at Vegeta curiously, because this kid had never looked at him with such strange eyes. Basically they were slightly unconvinced, or cold eyes. Zhang Yang. Vegeta took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, who the hell are you? Who the hell am I? He. Who else can I be? Zhang Yang was speechless for a while. He thought what this kid was going to say. No, what I mean is, what is your identity? As early as a few years ago, that East King Kaixin had a different attitude towards you. And, it once said that you are also a god. Quote. At this moment, Vegeta seemed to be desperate at this moment, staring straight at Zhang Yang and asked. Well, facing Vegeta's question, Zhang Yang pondered for a moment, finally nodded, and said with a smile, that's right. I'm indeed a god. As predicted, Vegeta stared. Nani, brother Zhang Yang, you are really a god. At this moment, Son Goku, who had been hiding all this time, also suddenly appeared, and he looked at Zhang Yang in shock. Che, what's the surprise of a candidate for gods of destruction? Beerus saw that the limelight had been robbed by Zhang Yang, so he immediately let out a bit of a sour voice. Candidate gods of destruction. Vegeta and Son Goku couldn't help but looked at each other, their eyes filled with shock. Lord Beerus. At this time, Anna smiled slightly and reminded, Master Zhang Yang today is not just a candidate for gods of destruction. Point 0. He is gods of destruction, a time and space independent of the 18 universes. Nani. Both Beerus and Whis were stunned when they heard this space-time gods of destruction that they had never heard before. Anna, do you mean that Zhang Yang doesn't need to do the work that gods of destruction should do at all, but he enjoys the status of gods of destruction? Beerus looked at Zhang Yang blankly, and asked a question. Not really, Mr. Zhang Yang has the ability to travel through the universe. Therefore, it is his job to be able to effectively find the guy who came out of the negative universe. Anna replied. So, Beerus took a deep look at Zhang Yang. That, brother Zhang Yang, the Super Saiyan God you just mentioned, can Vegeta and I reach this level? Although Son Goku was shocked by Zhang Yang's identity, he quickly stopped thinking about it and paid more attention to the realm of Super Saiyan God he heard just now. Certainly, Zhang Yang nodded with a smile, then his eyes froze in vain at this moment, then he clenched his fists and gave a loud shout, transforming into Super Saiyan God directly under the shocking gazes of Vegeta, Son Goku, Klin and others behind him. Red form. This is the transformed form of Super Saiyan God. Looking younger and more, Zhang Yang looked at the stunned Son Goku and Vegeta with a smile on his face, and said 7.2.2.2. Cool. Brother Zhang Yang, your transformation form of Super Saiyan God is a bit too cool. Seeing Zhang Yang's transformation form at the moment, Son Goku became excited. In recent years, he has been practicing non-stop, just to see if he can go further and obtain a brand new transformation form under the transformation form of Super Saiyan 3. He failed. Now, seeing Zhang Yang's Super Saiyan God's transformed form, he naturally became excited instantly. This guy's transformation. Seeing Zhang Yang's Super Saiyan God transformation form, Vegeta's eyes were full of envy. Brother Zhang Yang, can you teach me and Vegeta to transform into this Super Saiyan God? Son Goku hastily stepped forward and grabbed Zhang Yang's shoulder with a frenzied look on his face. He. Zhang, 757, Yang looked at the extremely excited Son Goku, chuckled twice and then returned to his normal appearance. He said, you can experience this state in a short time. However, through practice, you can obtain a more powerful transformation form. How can I experience it in a short time? Son Goku froze for a moment. Vegeta is also looking at it, and is also very concerned about the transformation form of this Super Saiyan God. A Saiyan with 5 hearts of justice injects heart power into another Saiyan, and she can transform into the red form of Super Saiyan God I just said. Zhang Yang explained. 5 Saiyans with a heart of justice inject heart power. Son Goku was stunned when he heard Zhang Yang's explanation, scratched the back of his head in confusion, and said, "What's the principle? What do you care about?" Zhang Yang raised his hand and knocked on Son Goku's head, and said with a light smile, "Okay, let's get started. Brother Zhang Yang, you won't participate. Didn't you agree to have 5 Saiyans with a heart of justice?" At this time, Keelan came over, looked at Zhang Yang in surprise, and asked, "Aren't there 5 of you?" Zhang Yang shook his head and smiled. This fellow Vegeta, does he really have a heart of justice? Clint scratched his head. Hearing this, Vegeta stared at the little bald head uncomfortably. Ahem. Sensing Vegeta's murderous gaze, Clinton jumped aside and stopped talking. However, it was not difficult to see from the suspicion in his eyes that he did not believe that Vegeta had a heart of justice. Wait, didn't 5 Saiyans with a heart of justice pour their hearts into another Saiyan to become a Super Saiyan God? Whis spoke at this moment, "So, little Zhang Yang, I still need your help." Hearing what Whis said, Zhang Yang smiled slightly, and he set his sights on Vital, who was on the side. The latter also set his sights on him. Vital coughed lightly twice, and whispered, "That. Uncle Zhang Yang, I don't know if the baby in my belly is Saiyan." "Certainly." Zhang Yang nodded affirmatively. It's not that he doesn't want to contribute, but that he is afraid of any accidents. After all, his strength level is different now, and he can still successfully transform into Super Saiyan God by himself. Therefore, in order not to cause any unstable factors, he decided to use these people in the original book to transform Son Goku into Super Saiyan God. Vital. You. Hearing Vital and Zhang Yang's words, Son Gohan's eyes widened suddenly, and then he said in shock, "You, daughter pregnant with a baby. I wanted to surprise you for a while, but since I need the baby's help, I can only say it." Vital lowered her head a little bit shyly, and it can be seen that, as a first-time mother, she is excited and shy at the same time. After all the eyes of the audience were on her at this moment. "Ha ha ha, I'm so happy, I'm going to be a father." Son Gohan immediately jumped up on the spot, and at this moment, he was extremely happy. After a burst of collective happiness, everyone is also in place. Now, Vegeta, Son Gohan, Vital, Goten, Trunks held hands and surrounded Son Goku in the center. Hateful. Before it even started, Vegeta stared at Son Goku and made official complaints. "Why do you always let Kakarot be the protagonist?" Hey, don't say that, Vegeta." Son Goku grinned and said, "If this time is successful, I will let you be the protagonist next time. What do you think?" Is this true? Vegeta rolled his eyes. Let's get started. Please note that it's not about breathing into Goku, it's about heart power. Zhang Yang's voice came. Everyone hurriedly closed their eyes, then let go of their hands, and put them on Son Goku. This moment, I saw streaks of golden light appearing on Vegeta and the others, and then slowly sending them towards Son Goku's body. It's just a short time. A blinding golden light exploded and shot straight into the sky. Oh, Beerus looked up at the sky. The sky has completely changed at this moment, with golden clouds in the sky. This scene looks very spectacular. It seems interesting. Whis and Anna looked at each other, smiled and nodded. Boom. At this moment, an extremely terrifying energy exploded from Son Goku's body and shot straight into the sky. Then, under the stunned eyes of everyone, his body actually rose up on its own. And at this moment, he was surrounded by red rays of light, making it impossible to see through Son Goku in the rays. This moment, 4 weeks began to experience the succession of the 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn and winter. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it is sunny, sometimes it is windy, and sometimes it snows. Yeah, why is there hail all over my head? Sudden. There was a scream from Master Roshi on the side. Everyone was raining and snowing normally, but he was the only one. When hailstones rained down one after another and hit his head, it was a pain. See this scene. Zhang Yang couldn't help laughing. Soon, after another extremely dazzling red light exploded, all the miracles disappeared, and Son Goku also slowly fell from the sky. Everyone's eyes were on Son Goku, and everyone's faces were shocked. How does this feel different from Uncle Zhang Yang's Super Saiyan God? Son Gohan looked at Son Goku, who was also in the red form of Super Saiyan God, but couldn't help but compared it with the red color of Super Saiyan God transformed by Zhang Yang just now. Finally come to a conclusion. Uncle Zhang Yang's Super Saiyan God has a much stronger sense of oppression, while his father Son Goku's Super Saiyan God has a gentle temperament, which does not seem to be a strong person at all. Brother Zhang Yang, am I the Super Saiyan God now? Son Goku looked towards Zhang Yang and asked aloud. Yes, Zhang Yang nodded, although, at this moment, Son Goku in the red form of Super Saiyan God cannot be weaker. Compared with the previous Goku, he is absolutely powerful at this moment. In that case, Son Goku took a deep breath, bowed deeply to Zhang Yang, and then said, Brother Zhang Yang, I have a heartfelt favor. Oh, do you want to fight with me? Zhang Yang raised his brows slightly, but he didn't expect that Goku, after transforming into Super Saiyan God, was not looking for Beerus but him. I want to ask Brother Zhang Yang for advice. Son Goku continued. It is good. Faced with Son Goku's invitation to fight, Zhang Yang did not refuse this time. Because, he waited for this day, just like Son Goku, he waited for a very long time. Call out. Hearing that Zhang Yang promised him, Son Goku suddenly flew into the sky excitedly. Call out. Zhang Yang also flew into the sky. Above the sky, the two faced each other, and neither of them took the lead. Master Beerus, may I ask, why can't I feel my father's breath? At this time, Son Gohan came over and asked in a low voice. Because of Zhang Yang, Beerus is not too bad for Saiyan or human senses on the earth, so he glanced at Gohan indifferently, and explained, because Son Goku has become a god now. Hearing Beerus' explanation, Son Gohan was slightly taken aback. Seeing that he was still a little confused, Whis smiled and explained, ordinary humans cannot perceive the breath of gods. With this explanation, you should understand. Understood. So, now my dad is the real Super Saiyan God? Son Gohan asked again. No, this is just a brief entry into this field. After that, he will still be beaten back to his original form. It's just, if Mr. Son Goku is lucky, he will be able to realize it during this transformation. See things that you can't usually understand. Whis said. Hearing Whis' words, Vegeta's eyes flickered, and then he looked up to the sky. Kakarot. Now, above the sky, Son Goku in the red form of Super Saiyan God clasped his hands together and bowed to Zhang Yang. The same is true for Zhang Yang, he clasped his hands together and bowed back. Drink. Son Goku let out a loud cry, then clenched his fists and rushed towards Zhang Yang. Facing Son Goku's attack, Zhang Yang deflected a little, not to avoid his attack, but Son Goku's speed was too fast, and he passed Zhang Yang directly. My God! Feeling the speed he had never experienced before, Son Goku's face was full of disbelief, and he said excitedly, Brother Zhang Yang, my speed is too fast. This is Super Saiyan God. I think you can still stimulate more potential in this transformation state. Zhang Yang smiled slightly. Okay, let me try the Kamehameha wave. Son Goku immediately became excited, and then began to gather Kamehameha waves. As he yelled out the last word, lightning bolts exploded in his palm. In a sense, the Kamehameha wave at this moment should be regarded as the Kamehameha wave of God under the state blessing of Son Goku Super Saiyan God. Boom! The Kamehameha wave of God is ejected from Son Goku's hand, but because the power is too powerful, he can't control it at all after launching. Therefore, I saw this Kamehameha wave of the Tao God brushed past Zhang Yang, but it didn't hurt him at all. On the contrary, the Kamehameha wave of God made a circle, arrived in the sea area below, and set off a wave directly. At this moment, the cruise ship began to shake, and a large piece of seawater rose into the sky, scaring Keelan and others. Goku, I think you want to kill us. Chi-Chi on the cruise ship clenched his fist and roared at Son Goku in the sky. Ha ha ha, I didn't know it would be like this. Son Goku watched the Kamehameha wave of God explode in the distance, scratched the back of his head in embarrassment, and then laughed silly. After a while, Son Goku stopped smiling, and then looked at Zhang Yang with serious eyes. Facing this big brother who is calm, and always has a faint smile on his face, Son Goku couldn't help taking a deep breath, and said in a deep voice, "Brother Zhongyang, do you know? In my eyes, you are an eternal, a mountain that cannot be crossed." "Don't think so." Zhongyang shook his head. "But it is so." Son Goku made a stance about to attack, and then said, "Today, relying on the power that does not belong to me, I will have a good collision with you head on. I am looking forward." Zhongyang waved to Son Goku and said with a smile, "Come on, Goku. The red form of Super Saiyan God is far from your limit. I understand this." Boom! Son Goku exploded with a powerful aura at this moment, and charged towards Zhongyang again. This time, his speed was perfectly controlled by him, and he arrived in front of Zhongyang in an instant. Boom! Boom! Facing Son Goku's fist, Zhongyang easily blocked his attack with just one finger. So fast! So fast! Now, on the cruise ship below, Keelan exclaimed. Hearing Keelan's exclamation, Vegeta, who crossed his arms across his chest, squinted at him indifferently, and said indifferently, "Don't make noise, take a good look." He. Kling smiled awkwardly, but it wasn't Vegeta. He knows his own strength very well, and he understands that the end of contradicting will definitely be a fat beating. Zhongyang is really a bottomless pit. I don't even know what level his strength is. Just like that guy Kakarot said, in front of us, he is a mountain that can never be crossed. Big mountain. Don't look at the extremely calm face on Vegeta's face at this moment, but in fact his heart is in turmoil. He hates and respects this guy Zhongyang, and he doesn't know exactly how he feels. Boom! At this moment, there were bursts of terrifying explosion roars in the sky. From the beginning to the end, Zhongyang looked normal against Son Goku in Super Saiyan God's red transformation form. The more he fought, the more frightened Son Goku became. Because Zhongyang has always been so relaxed and comfortable, and has never transformed into a form, even if it is only the weakest Super Saiyan 1 form. This shows what? The strength of this brother Zhongyang is unfathomable. The normal combat power alone has reached a level that he can't imagine. I will definitely become stronger. The more Son Goku understands Zhongyang's strength, the more excited he is at the moment. Boom! 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 Son Goku's punching speed is getting faster and faster, and his strength is also getting bigger and bigger. Regarding this, the smile on Zhongyang's face gradually deepened. It is a good thing that Son Goku can grow up quickly. Next, the battle between the two fought from the high altitude to the stratosphere outside the Earth, and then from the stratosphere to the deep sea. Vegeta and others watched the battle between Zhongyang and Son Goku through the crystal ball Whis took out, and no one's heart was not trembling all the time. Finally, after the two had fought for at least half an hour, the battle was finally over. Zhongyang helped the exhausted Son Goku back to the cruise ship. He didn't choose to feed Son Goku fairy beans, because he wanted the kid to experience the feeling of being in the red transformation form of Super Saiyan God. Zhongyang, even though you are a big mountain, one day, I will be able to cross it. Vegeta let out a loud drink at this moment, then soared into the sky and flew towards Exodus. It seems that he was hit by the battle between Zhongyang and Son Goku just now, and now he is ready to practice endlessly again. Regarding this, Zhongyang shook his head and smiled, but he didn't care at all. Call out. At this moment, a piercing sound sounded. Zhongyang, Anna, Beerus, and Whis all turned their heads to look. I saw a dignified look on the face of a little loli with twin ponytails, and then spit out a shocking news. Zhongyang, the existence of the gods of destruction level that came out of the conceited universe appeared in the 17th universe. The sudden arrival of the little girl with twin tails is naturally Rebecca. Now, when everyone heard what she said, their expressions suddenly became serious. Speak carefully, Zhongyang said in a deep voice. Half a year ago, Mei and I were playing in the universe, but we came across a space rift by chance, and out of this space rift came out a phenomenon-level human master-level existence. Rebecca came slowly with Angel's staff in her hand. At this moment, her face showed a dignified expression that had never appeared before. At least, Zhongyang had never seen such an expression on her. And then, Beerus asked slightly excitedly. He has long wanted to deal with these fools from the negative universe, but he has never encountered them, and he still secretly feels sorry for them. Now, hearing that Rebecca had news from the 17th universe, she immediately regained her spirits. That phenomenal expert was certainly not Mei's opponent. he was killed on the spot. Rebecca said. After that, everything went smoothly, but a month ago, in the same place, an existence from the negative universe came out again. This time, it was no longer a phenomenon-level master, but an existence at the level of gods of destruction. How strong? Zhang Yang's eyes flickered, and he asked. It's not much different from the strength of gods of destruction in the sixth universe. Rebecca thought for a while, and then found a comparison. Not much different from Champa's strength. Hearing this, Zhang Yang narrowed his eyes slightly. In other words, the master who came out of the conceited universe has a combat power value of almost 9.9 points. Master Mei captured that guy alive, and wanted to ask for something. But it's a pity, this guy would rather die than submit, and directly chose to blow himself up. A look of pity appeared on Rebecca's face, and then, she seemed to remember something, and continued, however. Fortunately, the space crack has not disappeared. That is to say, maybe we can send people of similar strength to the negative universe. As soon as Rebecca's words came out, Zhang Yang and the others lifted their expressions. Hey, I think I can do this kind of thing. Beerus rubbed his hands together and smiled. Your strength is a little stronger, so you can't enter. Rebecca glanced at Beerus and shook her head directly. Let that guy Champa explore. Does he dare? Beerus sneered. Temporary, I think. Wait for a while. What if a more powerful gods of destruction level master comes out of it? At that time, maybe we can also pass a more powerful existence. Anna pondered for a moment, then gave her own suggestion. Listening to the exchange of several people, Zhang Yang began to think in his heart. Although his strength has reached the 12th level of angel level combat strength, don't forget that he has a system, and he can perfectly hide his strength as long as he wants. And when he has indeed suppressed his strength to a level similar to that of Champa, will he be able to enter the negative universe through the space crack of the 17th universe? Thinking of this, Zhang Yang couldn't help feeling the idea of secretly going to test it out. Ah choo. Now, Champa, who was wandering in the 7th universe, suddenly sneezed a lot, and the snot bubbles hung on his nose, which made his brows furrowed in an instant. Quote. Suck. While speaking, he took a sharp breath, sucked the snot bubbles on his nose into his nose, then scratched his head, and said strangely, Vados, is the record I saw a fake record? Why, there is no wishing ball in the 6th universe, and there is no wishing ball in this 7th universe. I don't know, Lord Champa. Vados shook his head, and suddenly looked deep into the starry sky of the 7th universe. His gaze narrowed slightly, and he said in a deep voice, Lord Champa, there seems to be something different over there. Cut. This is the 7th universe, do we need to care about it? Hey, Vados, do you think my wishing ball will be stolen by some guy? Champa didn't care at all what would happen in the 7th universe, waved his hand, and was still struggling with the fact that he hadn't found a wishing ball recorded in an ancient book for a long time. Facing Champa's complaints, Vados seemed indifferent, because she always felt that the breath was very strange. Only, in Champa's words, the matter of the 7th universe really has nothing to do with their 6th universe. Champa didn't bother to care, so she naturally couldn't find out. Thus, Vados and Champa raced back towards the 6th universe. Flash. More than 4 months have passed like this. This day, Zhang Yang, who was accompanying the girls in the backyard of Exedu's home, suddenly frowned, and then the corners of his mouth raised slightly. The current time period is indeed the time he estimated. As for the estimated time, it is of course because of Frieza Guy. This period should be the day when Frieza returned from hell and took revenge on Son Goku. However, in this life, the person Frieza hates and wants to kill may only be him, Zhang Yang. At this moment, Zhang Yang sensed a familiar aura, which made a faint smile appear on the corner of his mouth. Really thinking about this guy Frieza, this guy appeared. Master Zhang Yang. Anna also felt something, and called out softly. I know. Zhang Yang slowly got up from the stone bench, looked at Bulma and the girls, and said with a smile, come with me to meet an old acquaintance. Call out. Immediately, Zhang Yang used instant transmission to bring the girls directly to the place where he sensed Frieza's breath. And with their arrival, after a while, Keelan and others also followed. Brother Zhang Yang, Uncle Zhang Yang, Mr. Zhang Yang. A group of people greeted Zhang Yang, and then set their dignified eyes on the sky. Now, The entire sky was densely packed with soldiers from Frieza's legion. Stink. At this moment, Zhang Yang spread his induction slightly, and a foul smell hit him, making his gaze fixed. It stinks. It stinks. Li Lahao. Rebecca pinched her nose with an irritable expression on her face. She hated the smell of this guy who came out of the negative universe the most, because it stinks too much. This guy, Frieza, must have colluded with the guy in the negative universe, right? Class. Zhang Yang was slightly taken aback, and his brows were also tightly wrinkled at this moment. According to the temper of this guy Frieza, it doesn't seem impossible. Zhang Yang, long time no see, I miss you so much. At this moment, Frieza's sinister voice came from the sky, and then Frieza sitting on a small flying disc slowly flew out of the crowd. Behind him was a man in a black cloak, and there was a trace of black air coming out of his body. Just based on this alone, it was not hard to see how extraordinary he was. But Zhang Yang can tell at a glance that this guy in a black cloak is definitely a strong man who has come out of the negative universe. Gods of Destruction levels. Moon. It is still an extremely powerful existence in the Gods of Destruction level. The guy in the black cloak. Anna stared at the guy standing behind Frieza, frowning slightly. This guy's aura is about the same as Gods of Destruction Borui from the 13th universe. Rebecca pinched her nose and spoke softly. So, this guy can be a match for Master Beerus. Zhang Yang put his chin in his hand and laughed. Beerus' strength has reached 11.5 points, which is more than a star and a half stronger than before. Call out. Say Beerus. Beerus arrives. Only two sounds of breaking through the air sounded, and then Whis and Beerus appeared beside Zhang Yang. Talk about me, brat. As soon as Beerus arrived, he glared at Zhang Yang viciously, then looked up at Whis who was pinching his nose, and said in surprise, what are you pinching your nose for? Smelly. Whis is also very authentic. Smelly. Beerus sniffed the air, but he didn't smell any smell at all. He couldn't help but look towards Whis, and saw the latter pointing his finger to the sky. He immediately looked over, and when he saw Frieza, his brows twitched a bit. At the same time, a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. How did Lisa come to Earth? Huh. The moment Beerus looked at Frieza, the latter also sensed it and turned his gaze over. Eyes on each other. Beerus had a playful look on his face. As for Frieza, a look of astonishment and surprise appeared on her face. Gods of Destruction Beerus. Beerus, how are you on Earth? Frieza exclaimed. Beerus, whoa, Frieza, you have the guts to call Gods of Destruction directly. Beerus sneered. Lord Beerus. Frieza's complexion changed, and she hurriedly flew out of the small flying disc, and arrived at the top of Beerus, bowed deeply, showing great respect. Hey, you are brave enough to stand on the head of Gods of Destruction. Beerus continued to criticize. Frieza was just about to fly down to continue saluting. At this moment, the figure of the man in the black cloak standing behind Frieza flickered for a moment, pressed his shoulders, and only heard him say lightly, it's just a Gods of Destruction, is it worth being so afraid? Listen to the voice, man. Frieza glanced back at him, frowning slightly. He knew Beerus' strength and had seen it before. Although he knew about this man's strength, he had never seen it before, so he still had some doubts about him. Who are you? Beerus narrowed his eyes when he heard the man in the black cloak say such words, and his voice was extremely low, with a trace of murderous intent. Me, he, you don't deserve to know. The man in the black cloak smiled coldly, and then looked down at Whis, Anna, and Rebecca, only to hear him say indifferently, 3 angels, but, can you do it? It seems that this master who came out of the conceited universe understands angels' neutrality rules. Unworthy, no. As the man in the black cloak finished speaking, Beerus laughed instantly out of anger. He didn't know how many years someone dared to pretend to be X in front of him. Boom. Immediately, Beerus soared into the sky, raised his hand and sent the man in the black cloak flying with a punch. Immediately, when he raised his hand, a purple energy destruction ball was launched from his palm. Boom. The man in the black cloak who was blown away stabilized his body, raised his hand and slapped the purple destructive energy ball into the air, blasting it aside. Immediately, there was a scream in the sky. Nonsense. The sky was full of elite fighters under Frieza, and when he saw the man in the black cloak causing trouble, he immediately became unhappy. It's just a group of shrimp soldiers and crab generals. There's nothing to feel sorry about. In the future, my army will enter the country, which one will not be dozens of times or even hundreds of times stronger than your rubbish. Question mark exclamation mark quote. The man in the black cloak beach sneered. Hearing this, Frieza's eyes flickered. He glanced at Beerus who flew into the sky, then at the man in the black cloak, and finally set his eyes on Zhang Yang who was extremely calm below. At this moment, there was a strange light in his eyes, as if Ping was hesitating about something. After a while, he took a deep breath and said coldly, Darren. You come to fight that Beerus guy, I continue to avenge me. No problem. The man in the black cloak laughed. Zhang Yang, Frieza yelled loudly, flew over Zhang Yang's head, and said coldly, do you know how much pain I have suffered in recent years? I don't know, and I'm not interested in knowing. Zhang Yang said indifferently. What? Frieza smiled coldly, raised his hand and blasted out a shock cannon. Zhang Yang slapped the impact cannon into the air, blasting the warriors of Frieza's legion into the sky. There was another wailing sound. This made Frieza's eyes much colder. Looking at Zhang Yang, he couldn't hide his murderous intent no matter how hard he tried. Whoosh! At this moment, two figures appeared. It was Son Goku and Vegeta. Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, I leave it to you guys. Seeing Son Goku and Vegeta, Zhang Yang said immediately, and then flew into the sky, arriving at Beerus who was confronting Darren, the man in the black cloak. Is there another guy who wants to die? Darren, the man in the black cloak, smiled coldly. The men he sent out to inquire before were very clear about the strength of gods of destruction in this universe. Just a puny gods of destruction. Angel didn't dare to make a move, he wantonly t. Lord Beerus, you are nothing more than a scum of the gods of destruction level. Zhang Yang said indifferently. Letting you make a move is too much to make a fuss about. It's better, let me, the candidate for the 7th universe, gods of destruction, make a move. Hearing Zhang Yang's words, Beerus frowned slightly. He is the person who can't listen to other people's provocations, not to mention that this guy from the negative universe looks down on him so much, and the attitude shown by opening and closing his mouth is to kill him. It's as simple as trampling an ant to death. How can this Beerus bear this tone? The earth is too small. Master Beerus is not much different from this guy in strength. If you don't pay attention, the earth will explode. Zhang Yang thought more. He whispered, and I will kill this guy and send it back to the negative universe. It will definitely cause a big earthquake. Yes, it's just a universe's alternate gods of destruction, easily beheading the existence of the best in the gods of destruction level, so how strong should the real gods of destruction be? Even beings that are not angels above gods of destruction. Does it exist? Zhang Yang should be the first to deter and give the role of dismounting. In this way, more powerful existences will emerge from those space cracks, so as to implement the purpose of anti-invasion. Hearing Zhang Yang's words, Beerus fell silent for a moment. To be honest, he really didn't want to admit what Zhang Yang said, but in fact, it was indeed such a truth. He may be able to defeat an existence of the same strength, but the process may be a bit delayed, and he may not even be able to kill. And if Zhang Yang makes a move, then 100% can kill such an existence that is only at the level of gods of destruction. Beerus nodded. After agreeing, Beerus gave Darren a cold look, with a cruel smile on the corner of his mouth, and then returned to Whis. Zhang Yang, how dare you ignore me? There were bursts of angry roars in the sky. Frieza, your opponent is us. Son Goku's voice followed immediately. Us? Sorry, I won't fight side by side with you. Vegeta's voice sounded again. Kill a Frieza, all I need is enough. Hey, Vegeta, it's agreed that I will go first. Otherwise, whoever will strike first. Son Goku's voice continued. Frieza's fur was blown out of the water by these two guys. Zhang Yang has shown enough to look down on him, and Son Goku and Vegeta dare to look down on him. How can he bear it? Immediately, he didn't intend to kill Zhang Yang first, but decided to kill these two ignorant guys first, and then kill that guy Zhang Yang. This guy desperately went to find Darren. What if he died? Thinking of this, Frieza frowned slightly, turned around, looked at Darren who was not far away, and raised his voice. Darren, don't kill this guy directly, I must kill this fool with my own hands. Only in this way, only then can the hatred in my heart be eliminated. Is that so? Then I Let's play with this weak reptile. Darren listened to Frieza's words, pondered for a moment, and finally nodded in agreement. Then, Darren set his sights on Zhang Yang, and slowly took off his black cloak. On the black long coat, there is a shiny silver brand on the chest, on which a number can be clearly seen 7. 7. This guy looks like a master of the -7 universe. Zhang Yang took a deep look at the shiny silver plaque on Darren's chest, then narrowed his eyes slightly, casting an extremely dangerous light. Zhang Yang, kill this guy quickly. The guy who walked out of the negative universe is too stinky. Even if I pinch my nose, I almost spit it out now. Just as Zhang Yang was sizing up Darren, Rebecca below raised her voice. Hearing Rebecca's words, Zhang Yang hadn't responded yet, but Darren couldn't help laughing wildly. After laughing for about 10 seconds or so, he stopped and set his eyes on Zhang Yang, his eyes full of scrutiny. He said coldly, "Boy, being able to become a universe's alternate gods of destruction shows that your strength is really good. But it's a pity, let alone you, even you, the universe's gods of destruction, are scum to me ordinary existence." Maybe. Zhang Yang smiled, then hooked his fingers at this gods of destruction master from the negative universe, and said, "Come on. Let me see your strength, I hope I can match your big tone. Otherwise, it would be really disappointing." Boom. The moment Zhang Yang's voice fell, Darren, a master of the conceited universe, charged in front of him in an instant. Boom. It's too slow. Zhang Yang tilted his head to avoid his punch and became drunk. "Hey, I admit, you seem to have some strength." Seeing that he missed the blow, Darren showed a gloomy look on his face, then retracted his fist and flew back dozens of meters, and said calmly, "But, you are still like a reptile in my eyes." Seeing Darren's posture, I have to say that Zhang Yang, who has seen countless kings in his previous life, couldn't help but admire in his heart. This guy is purely a person pretending to be X, and he is also the kind of guy who enjoys pretending to be X. It's really the kind of person who can't say or do anything without pretending to be X. Come on, let me see that your alternate gods of destruction strength can reach a few % of mine. Darren hooked his fingers at Zhang Yang, and everything looked extremely calm. Hearing this, Zhang Yang gave this guy a thumbs up with a wry smile. He was speechless. Call out. Speechless, this battle will continue. Do not. It's not so much a fight, it's better to say that Zhang Yang is going to beat up this pretender. He moved. The figure flickered for a moment, and it appeared in front of Darren in an instant. Boom. A punch blasted out, with the whistling sound, directly hitting the eyes of Darren, the pretender. Moment. After one punch, Zhang Yang followed with another punch. Ah! After these two punches, Darren yelled directly. At this moment, with his pair of iron-eating beast eyes, it looks ridiculous enough. "Hey, aren't you very powerful?" Zhang Yang sneered, and said sarcastically, "I don't think your strength is strong, but your tone is not small." Sneak attack. Darren was furious, he hadn't shown his real level yet, this guy didn't play his cards according to the routine, he just started. Sneak attack. Zhang Yang was amused by his words, and then shook his head. His gaze became cold at this moment, and he reached out to grab Darren, directly strangling him by the neck. Point 0. VR. This grab directly made Darren dumbfounded. He obviously had precautions. Why did Zhang Yang seem to be frozen at the moment when he stretched out his hand, unable to move at all? It's so weak. A ray of light appeared in Zhang Yang's palm. Do not. Darren looked terrified, and lost his voice. Did you just use a domain? This is an ability that only a master of angel-level combat power can control. How could you, a candidate for gods of destruction, use? You have Angel helping you in the dark. Angel, how dare you break the rules of neutrality and attack me? To shut up. Zhang Yang snorted coldly, exerted some force in his hands, and Darren couldn't speak for a moment, only to hear him say coldly, "It's come to this point, don't you understand?" You. Darren's face was ashen, and his eyes were full of disbelief. He looked at this seemingly weak guy, and a trembling from the depths of his soul surged out. This moment has come. How could he not understand? He just doesn't want to believe it. A universe's alternate gods of destruction, unexpectedly able to display the ability of the domain that only angels can use. What if the real gods of destruction? How powerful would it be? He does not know, can't guess. Since then, it has not been seen. Because. Clear. Zhang Yang whispered, released the primary clearing ability, and directly wiped out the best of the gods of destruction level who came out of this conceited universe. Now, when this mighty gods of destruction from the negative universe just died. Below, Beerus showed a look of not knowing whether to laugh or to be sad. What? Master Beerus was hit by Master Zhang Yang. Seeing Beerus' strange expression, Anna covered her mouth and laughed lightly. Go aside, I wasn't hit by this brat. Beerus tilted his head and snorted coldly. As proud as he is, it is naturally impossible to admit it. But it doesn't matter if you don't admit it, because his expression and posture at the moment have already explained everything. At this moment, everyone understands. Sister Anna, how does it feel weird that little Zhang Yang just killed the gods of destruction level existence that came out of the negative universe? At this time, Whis whispered something strange, didn't find it. Anna was slightly taken aback. She saw Zhang Yang stretch out his hand just now, and a light from flickered for a moment, and that guy was killed directly, leaving no scum left. I don't know, I always feel a sense of destruction. But, that energy makes me feel palpitations while watching the field all the time. Whis' eyes were full of doubts, and he was a little confused. That's clear ability. At this moment, Rebecca, who had been silent all this time, suddenly spoke. Nani. If Rebecca didn't speak, it was enough to scare people to death when she spoke. Now, not to mention Beerus, just Whis and Anna on the other side, with shocked expressions on their faces. Are you kidding me? Beerus was the first to not believe it. Zhang Yang, this brat, can control the clearing ability of that grown-up. I'm afraid this is not a dream. Rebecca, don't talk nonsense. Anna frowned slightly. Yes, Whis nodded in approval. If word like this gets out, I'm afraid there will be. Do not. It should be said that it will definitely cause a big earthquake. Why didn't the high-ranking Master Zeno clear the negative universe? Naturally, it's because he is even more aloof from the world. In other words, no matter whether the negative universe wins or the 18 universes they belong to wins, it doesn't change his status in any way. Once the news that Zhang Yang has mastered the removal ability spreads, everyone's eyes will be focused on him. At the same time, we must also understand a truth, that is, Zhang Yang is not Zeno. The latter has nothing to do with the world, and treats everything with an indifferent attitude. And what about Zhang Yang? Who can clarify his true attitude? Cannot. Nobody can. Don't even dare to speculate. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Rebecca shrugged indifferently. Seeing Rebecca's attitude, Anna's eyes flickered. She looked up at Zhang Yang in the sky, and inexplicably took a deep breath. Master Zhang Yang. It's quite mysterious. FTE. How many secrets are there? Or in other words, what kind of surprises are there for them? Do not know. No one knows. Boom. At this moment, there were bursts of explosions and roars from another piece of sky. Everyone looked. Zhang Yang in the sky also looked over, and his brows were raised suddenly. Good guy. This guy Frieza, in his golden form, rubbed Super Saiyan Blue form Son Goku on the ground. This scene really shocked Zhang Yang. But if you think about it carefully, it seems that there is nothing wrong with it. After all, the Frieza in this world is not the Frieza in the original book, and now he has the excessive form of silver. After he practiced for several months because of anger and reluctance, it is indeed a very normal thing that his strength is stronger than the original one. Kakarot, if you can't do it, leave it to me. Vegeta looked at Son Goku who was being rubbed on the ground by Frieza, folded his hands on his chest, and immediately transformed into a Super Saiyan Blue color form, obviously couldn't stand it anymore. I'm really impatient. Vegeta, I won the boxing game, so let me fight to the end. Knocked out by Golden Frieza's punch, Son Goku, who fell on the ground, slowly got up, looked at Vegeta who was impatient in the low air, and grinned. Seeing this guy's miserable state, Vegeta smiled coldly, attacked directly, and rushed towards Frieza fiercely. Vegeta, the most loyal dog I've ever had. Facing Vegeta's attack, Golden Frieza appeared to be more at ease. While fighting back, he sarcastically said, "Now you have become stronger. I am really relieved. However, as the most loyal dog I ever had, isn't it a little immoral for you to fight against the owner who once raised you?" Frieza. When Vegeta heard Frieza's words, his anger immediately rose to the extreme, he roared, and the energy in his body exploded at this moment. Boom, boom. Enraged, Vegeta punched Frieza in the face and sent him flying. Drink. After a burst of drinking, Vegeta followed up violently, raised his hand and punched Frieza's body. Are you tickling, Vegeta? Vegeta blasted hundreds of punches, but it didn't hurt Frieza at all. Instead, he punched Frieza with a backhand, knocking him down to the ground. Too weak, too weak. Frieza shook his index finger, scanned his eyes, and finally looked at Zhang Yang standing high in the sky, gave him a provocative smile, and said coldly, that guy Darren was killed by you. He. I almost believed him how powerful it really is. It's okay, it's okay. He also thought that the guy who claimed to be from another universe was so powerful, so he hadn't gone through a few rounds in the hands of Zhang Yang. Frieza, your opponent is us. Just as Frieza was about to attack Zhang Yang, Son Goku on the side fired a blaster and attracted him. Son Goku, don't rush to die. After I kill Zhang Yang, that stinky monkey, I will let you all go down to meet him. Frieza sneered. In his eyes, in the field, apart from gods of destruction Beerus, there is no one who can fight at all, they are all scum and reptiles. At this moment, he is so confident, so inflated. 1.0 even. Frieza believes that as long as you think about it, you can practice seriously for a year or two, and it is not a problem to challenge that annoying Beerus. Thinking of this, Frieza looked at Beerus and sneered in his heart. However, at this moment, he knew that he was definitely not a match for this guy Beerus, so he put on a hypocritical and humble smile on his face, and said, Master Gods of Destruction Beerus, if I want to kill Zhang Yang and this group of stinky monkeys, you should not will it stop. No, you can do whatever you want. When Beerus heard what Frieza said, an unknown smile appeared on his face. Like sarcasm, like mocking, like a joke, all in all, he's looking forward to it too. Looking forward to what kind of desperate expression Frieza, an arrogant guy, will show when facing Zhang Yang's powerful moment. It will be wonderful. Beerus shook his head and laughed. Very good, very good. Then I would like to thank Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus. When Beerus answered in the affirmative, Frieza smiled very happily. He can unscrupulously start his revenge and start his massacre of these stinky monkeys. Happy, very happy. Frieza waved to Son Goku and Vegeta, who were still showing their presence, and said lightly, you are not qualified to fight with me, let's talk about it after I eat the main dish of Zhang Yang. Call out. After saying this, Frieza flew into the sky. He looked at Zhang Yang with a look of pity on his face, shook his head and said, your strength is indeed good, you can make the great King Frieza deflate twice in a row. He. Zhang Yang chuckled a few times and said, you counted wrong. The first time was planet Vegeta, and the second time was on Earth. How did I count it wrong? Frieza was slightly taken aback. Zhang Yang stretched out 3 fingers slowly, and said with a smile, this will be the 3rd time. Zhang Yang, where did you get such confidence? Hearing Zhang Yang's words, Frieza sneered, and said in a cold voice, today, I will let you understand. The me who practiced seriously is not the me I used to be. Boom. As soon as Frieza finished speaking, the whole person disappeared above the sky. Next second, Zhang Yang raised his hand and punched him sideways. Boom. The face of Frieza who had just appeared was directly dented by this punch. Nani. Along with the impact sound, Frieza also let out an unbelievable roar. Boom. Zhang Yang slapped it out, and the next day's energy flow directly sent Frieza flying at least hundreds of meters away. In just 1 second, the fight between Zhang Yang and Frieza was over. See this scene. Son Goku and Vegeta couldn't help but glanced at each other, with unknown expressions on their faces. Number 18, Zhang Yang, so strong. Really so strong. Now, below, Bulma grabbed the hand of number 18 next to him and jumped up and down excitedly. Although she knew that Zhang Yang was very powerful, but, who knew that he would be so powerful? Stronger than Son Goku and Vegeta, Frieza couldn't handle it. In front of Zhang Yang, Frieza's short body was like a volleyball, and it flew out easily. Yes, he is so strong. Thinking about it carefully, the 18th seems to be the first time seeing Zhang Yang take a shot. At this moment, she was really shocked. As for the outstanding gods of destruction level that just came out of Zhang Yang's self-conceited universe, they have no one to compare with, and they don't understand its strength at all. But Frieza is different. After fighting Son Goku and Vegeta for so long, he hasn't lost any momentum. On the contrary, he has crushed both of them. But, against Zhang Yang, the fight is over in seconds. Zhang Yang, dead monkey. Ah! At this moment, an extremely angry roar came from the sky hundreds of meters away. Whoosh! Next second, Frieza strikes again. This time, dazzling golden light rose from his body, looking like a golden god of war. Your transformation has almost reached the limit. It is extremely difficult to face Goku and the others, and you still want to fight me. Zhang Yang saw that although his momentum was extremely majestic, his sensing power was astonishing. At this moment, Frieza's panting speed is much faster than before, and now the load on the body after transformation is slowly showing. Not long. I'm afraid this guy Frieza won't be able to maintain his transformation to the golden form anymore. Nonsense. Frieza smiled coldly. Zhang Yang, are you afraid? Afraid? Zhang Yang shook his head and laughed, and took a step forward, and the moment Frieza just finished speaking, he had already appeared in front of him. The distance between the two is only a few centimeters, and each other's heartbeat can be heard. In my eyes, you have always been just a weak reptile. I don't bother to kill you, it's just that you want to die too much. Zhang Yang's extremely indifferent words really hurt Frieza's proud heart deeply. Just when Frieza was about to speak, Zhang Yang stretched out his hand and grabbed his neck. This scene seems familiar. Frieza's eyeballs rolled for a moment, and memories of the past came to mind. Then, it was the same scene at this moment. He died that year. Exclamation mark. Zhang Yang didn't talk nonsense at all, and an extremely terrifying energy cannon exploded in his palm. Dead too. Pity. After Zhang Yang killed Frieza, Beerus below shook his head, with a look of pity on his face. The angle just now was not very good. He didn't appreciate the expression of Frieza, an arrogant guy, before he died. After killing Frieza again, Zhang Yang didn't have any mood swings at all. Do not. It should be said that he was indeed as if he had trampled an ant to death. Can't produce too many mood swings at all. Now, he returned to the ground. A group of people came over one after another, talking all over the place. After Zhang Yang responded one by one, he waved and smiled to Bulma and number 18 who looked at him adoringly, and then came to Beerus and others. Frieza, the arrogant guy, probably not only wants to kill you. He even wants to kill God. As soon as Zhang Yang arrived, Beerus snorted coldly. His wolfish ambition, although it can be seen. Zhang Yang smiled nonchalantly, and recalled the strong man who came out of the universe with arrogance just now. He fixed his eyes and said in a deep voice, "It seems that there will be an even stronger man in a short time." Guy walks out of the universe with ego. Huh, Beerus nodded. So I decided, after a while, I will search in various universes. If I can catch a few powerful guys and kill them, then I will catch them all. Zhang Yang grinned. I'm not going with you. These guys are too smelly, I can't bear it. Rebecca immediately raised her little hand to express her position. I'm not going to let you go. Zhang Yang touched her little head, and then continued to Anna who seemed to be thinking about something. This time, I'm going to go alone. Well, it is indeed more convenient for you to move alone. Whis nodded. Correct. At this moment, Beerus' face suddenly turned strange. He stared at Zhang Yang with a strange look, as if he was about to say something important. At this moment, he lowered his voice and said, "By the way, let me ask you one question, please don't hide it from us." What? Zhang Yang looked at Beerus in surprise and said, "Could it be? Are you asking about my strength again? Stinky boy, when you killed that guy just now, did you use the clearing ability?" Beerus took a deep breath, and his heart beat faster and faster as he asked the question. Not only him, Whis and Anna on the other side also all set their eyes on Zhang Yang, with a nervous look gradually appearing on their faces. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.